بهم يا ربنا يسر لنا أمورنا واكشف لنا كروبنا والطف بنا والمسلمين.
So subhanAllah, 2025 almost finished.
Ajib.
It's been, years always go by really quickly. But if you think about everything that happened in the last year, subhanAllah, like,
We've achieved so much.
You think it happened like a long time ago? It was only like 1 year. Or
yeah.
Something.
So it's in some senses, it went by really fast.
Wait, no, sorry. You think it was yesterday, but it went like it was like a year, 2 years ago. You think something happened a month ago? It was 1 year ago.
Yes.
Yeah. SubhanAllah, time is such an interesting concept.
Especially this year, man. This year has been crazy, subhanAllah. Like in terms of what we've achieved, the Zawiya podcast journey, subhanAllah, our own Zawiya in itself.
Moving out of the previous Zawiya into the current one,
Yeah,
in which we're recording today.
Yeah, and it's only been 5 months since we started this podcast.
July we started, yeah?
SubhanAllah.
July. SubhanAllah.
And like all of these people have come from all around the world to be part of this and to share their perspective on tasawwuf and Islam generally.
Yeah, SubhanAllah, we international guests, Shaykh.
SubhanAllah.
I was reflecting on actually when we first started the podcast. Like, why did we actually start? Why were we so passionate about the Zawiya podcast?
Yeah, why did you start?
Well, us together, right? And I was thinking about it, and I think one of the key things here is we're really trying to revive tasawwuf. Revive the science of tasawwuf, which is the science of purifying the heart. And it's a science which has been, a part of Islamic communities throughout history. And it was one of the reasons for why those communities thrived.
Subhanallah.
Why some of these Islamic civilizations, reached the levels that they did. And then when you think about today and the world today, you can see a lot of people are kind of drowning in temptation. They're drowning in, they're not connected to each other. They're not connected to Allah.
Just lost. People just lost.
So everyone kind of feels that today. And you wonder why there's kind of this mental health epidemic, because this core science has been lost.
Ajib Sidi. Like, I watched Ertugrul Ghazi before Tasawwuf.
SubhanAllah, okay.
So I watched it, and then I started watching it with my wife recently, just to sort of revive that warrior spirit within us. And what I noticed, I guess now, is that the centrality of Tasawwuf in Ertugrul Ghazi's achievements and how he sort of had so many openings. He had his Sheikh behind him at every level, assisting him and adding to his, his achievements. It's amazing. Like you mentioned, openings.
SubhanAllah, I love those clips. I would go to YouTube. I'll be like, Ertugrul, Sheikh Ibn Arabi.
Yes.
And they have the coolest clips.
Yeah, they're
He'll
cool.
go
they're
through
cool.
like some of the toughest times when he's deserted, and then he'll have these amazing kind of
Distillations
wisdoms.
of wisdom.
Yeah.
Subhanallah.
But yeah, so, tasawwuf, and why we're so passionate about reviving tasawwuf is that's the science that talks about purifying the heart. That's the science that brings us together. It's the science that really, penetrates the heart and really brings out those emotions and that connection and that love. And we do that through the Zawiya. That's the Zawiya where tasawwuf is taught, where it's practiced, and where it's experienced.
SubhanAllah.
And that's, one of the reasons why we had the Zawiya podcast. We wanted to show the world the tasawwuf and the concept of the Zawiya and what it does.
But I want to also hear, Zak, what were your thinking when we started this podcast? Because we all had the same, we were just sitting there talking, and then as we usually do when we have our gatherings, and then one of Sheikh was like, "Why don't you guys just start a podcast?" And then what was everyone's thoughts? When that came up.
CD, I think that like people are tired of just a very bland form of
Dawah?
not da'wah, CD, in terms of their connection with Allah. Of course, we learned that in fiqh there are certain things you need to do to make your worship correct, without which it's not correct. So you need to make sure you have those fundamentals. But that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that connection with all of the light and blessings that He gives us, that takes, like Sidi was talking about, practical work. Like reading the books are good to give you like the map, but then you need to get into the territory, as Sheikh Ibrahim had mentioned.
Yes.
And you get into the territory by doing the physical work.
Yes.
So I think for me,
100%.
at least, my perspective on adding to this is that we all have realities, practical work and experiences in life that we go through. And tasawwuf, Islam, has given us so much to make us fulfilled. And why not share that with people? Why not help people find meaning in their life, which is probably one of the purposes of life, to connect to Allah through this life.
Allah.
And this is one of the ways, I guess.
Allah.
And we used to mention a lot of beneficial stuff as well amongst ourselves. We used to have mudhakara. We used to have like anything.
What's mudhakara?
Just like
reflection
reflection and thinking
reminding
about,
ourselves.
like, just because we used to have just with the asiyad like an official thing as well. But even when we sit unofficially with amongst each other, we used to sometimes mention some good stuff, man.
Especially you. Every time when
Some
I
things will keep on camera, some things off camera.
Yeah, that's right, which I won't mention. But the thing is that how many times have we just, me and you just had a call on the phone for like 40 minutes while I'm driving, and then at the end of it we were like, man, we should have recorded this.
100. Oh my god, man, 100%, man.
You know?
So, oh man, those gems.
Yeah, some
Those
people,
gems.
even outside Islam, just the boys or people that hang out, they will say, if we started a podcast, I hope it's not one of those ones. Expectation is here. No, but alhamdulillah, we used to,
Alhamdulillah.
as you said, Sheikh said that we should probably just, because we speak regardless, we sit for hours together speaking about good stuff, sometimes a bit of jokes here and there, but you know, it's reminders and reflections. So it's good that we're here and we're just sharing anything.
And like for me, there was one thing that he mentioned at the beginning, may Allah bless him, which was like a catalyst for me. I'm sure if I bring it up now, you'll also remember that. Is that he said, if I haven't taught you anything and you haven't benefited, then I haven't done my job. Meaning that like if you guys have nothing to share with people, then like I feel like I haven't done my job properly. And I was like, okay, like even if I feel I'm still somewhere here in terms of whatever I know, then I feel like that gave me the spiritual assistance to think that, you know, I'll just keep going with this, and I know for sure Allah is going to support me in doing this, because this is His dua. You know, this is His dua, and this is the expectation He's set for us.
That's amazing.
Do you remember that?
I actually don't. I don't. SubhanAllah, I don't. Man.
I remember it very clearly.
I know for me, SubhanAllah, when the idea first came from our Sheikh, you know, about doing a podcast, at first I was like, man, you know what? I kind of want to try it, you know, just getting behind the camera. Like, it's really interesting, man, you know, just get on the show and, you know, be around some boys and just talk about things like, okay. But then, SubhanAllah, I didn't think too much about it. But then as we started and we started getting serious about it, and then I was like, okay, this is actually happening now. We're actually starting a podcast now, you know, preparing things, you know, like obviously the technical side of things, the logistics and the topics and all that kind of stuff. I was like, whoa, this is real now. Then after we launched that first episode, SubhanAllah, and then I remember there was a brother, a long lost friend of mine, SubhanAllah, that last time we met was in was grade 4 at school, SubhanAllah. So, and I think he's watching this. So if you know who you are, you know who you are. And then he gave me a call, like he just messaged me out of the blue after about 20 years or something.
Really?
Yeah, 20 years, SubhanAllah. Then he messaged me and it's like, hey man, it's like I just saw a podcast and you know, SubhanAllah, like I was just, you know, I've been on my journey to tasawwuf, you know, myself for like, you know, for years, and I used to attend gatherings, but I couldn't find, you know, anything around the area. And then I just got lost for a bit, and I'm just struggling to find, you know, a community or just people who shared values. And like, then I saw your podcast with, you know, with a bunch of young guys, relatively young.
Us
and
three.
Yeah, three young guys and one guy.
Hey, are you guys talking about me?
Oh, sorry.
I was talking about
You're the youngest out of all. The youngest out of all. and then he started coming to Zawiya because that's SubhanAllah. And then he was, he told me SubhanAllah because like it was this podcast that got him, like, helped him find his way on his path towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You know, at the start, I was like, oh, like everyone's starting a podcast these days. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
your grandmother's starting it.
like, no one's gonna listen to us. Like, what are we gonna talk about? And I
SubhanAllah.
was like, okay, if it's just having a conversation that is recorded, I guess, you know, you don't lose anything. We talk about this stuff all the time anyway. But
SubhanAllah.
listening to or seeing people actually show up to the Zawiya and say, hey, actually, or
Yeah.
message you, and say, hey,
Yeah.
actually, I saw the podcast, and it really kind of enlightened me.
that
in
brought
some-
me
Yeah. Yeah,
brought me to the Zawiya. It actually, like, taught me a lot about self that I didn't know before. It really cleared up some misconceptions, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is actually real."
SubhanAllah.
Even if it doesn't benefit anyone else from now until forever, whatever, however long that is, that one person that came,
Yeah.
it's literally worth
It's worth
everything.
It. Yeah, it's
And there's
worth
many more, by the way. That was
Yeah,
just one
there's a
example.
lot more. So, as obviously that there's going to be a lot more people as the podcast grows. Inshallah, there's going to be a lot more people coming.
Inshallah.
But even if they don't already, subhanAllah, in 5 months, it's already been worth everything that
Yeah.
And there's a lot
everything.
more to do,
Yeah.
CD.
If
A lot
one
more.
person can experience something that helps them in their journey, helps them purify their heart, if it increases their connection even a little bit, that's a
Yeah,
huge
subhanAllah.
reward. That's the fact that we're able to facilitate that is a huge blessing. And initially I thought it was just going to be us, and some Sheikh came from overseas, and we were connected with, and they
Big
just,
names, man. Big names.
they happened to join. SubhanAllah, like we had so many guests Sheikh come in the last 5 months.
some
And-
big names.
Yeah,
Some big names.
and they dropped gems, and we had amazing moments. So I was actually interested to know, like, if any of you have maybe a favorite moment from a guest that you'd want to talk about.
I got heaps, man. But I really enjoyed the Inshad podcast. The Inshad podcast was up there for sure. But I really enjoyed Sheikh Ibrahim Schuitema's podcast too. Man, that man is so insightful, subhanAllah, man. Like the gems he dropped in that podcast. It was you and I, Silicon, wasn't it? It was us two.
Well, yes, it was a podcast which I was part of, and subhanallah, I related to him so much because I've worked in a lot of corporate organizations over my career, 10 years. Pretty much, actually, all of them were corporate.
SubhanAllah.
So I've been exposed to various styles of management styles and all of that. One of the things that Sheikh Ibrahim mentioned, or well, before I say that, just a statistic from there's an article from Monash University from 2022, which mentions that people spend about 90,000 hours of their life at work.
wow.
Now, 90,000 translates to about a third of the average person's life.
SubhanAllah.
So,
wow.
I mean, you've probably thought about this, but I'm bringing it
No,
up
I have
again.
not, man.
But
No, thanks to reminding me as well.
I thought it was more.
as we get older and we have more responsibilities, I guess it comes more to the forefront of, well, what am I doing with my time, right? Anyway, this article highlighted in one of its lines that work is therefore a crucial influence on our health, which makes sense, right? When your work environment is not exactly friendly or toxic, whatever, it can have an impact on your physical,
Big
mental
time.
health, so on.
Big time.
But after chatting with Sheikh Ibrahim Schuitema, he sort of flipped it on its head for a bit, and he sort of used principles of tasawwuf and Islam broadly to show that actually the way we show up to work and the way we what we bring to our work can actually influence the health of the entire world around us. Meaning, we bring our full when we bring our full personalities, and that means our Islam, our Ihsan, and our Iman to the work environment, we can actually make it clean, make it pure, and make it actually an environment which transforms souls. It's not, I'm here from the 9 to 5, I'm here to earn my money and fulfill my responsibilities.
Especially in leadership roles, right?
Exactly.
'Cause leadership is all about guiding people, understanding them.
Exactly. So, like, I've had some, as I said, personal experiences of different leadership styles, but I've literally taken Sheikh Ibrahim's advice, which I'll talk about a little bit shortly, into the current workplace where I am, and where I am in a leadership position, where I am influencing hiring decisions and things like that. And the ways we treat our staff, not just in our department, but across departments, and literally doing da'wah to the organization.
SubhanAllah.
People are asking me on a weekly basis about
SubhanAllah.
Directly.
SubhanAllah.
directly. Whenever we have conversations or hard times, like I'll bring my full self there, and people are like, I know that people are feeling something different about our interactions, and naturally they ask. So it's great. But to get into the detail of Sheikh Ibrahim's thing, so he was saying that we have to look at two things. Fundamentally, sincerity, but let's talk about trust first. Sheikh Ibrahim was mentioning that trust is the essence of sincerity. And sometimes we think that it's about being nice. Like if you're a nice guy, people will like you and they will trust you and all this sort of stuff. But instead, Sheikh Ibrahim showed us that in front of your team, when they see you do the right thing consistently, and you do the right thing despite it not being in your own personal interests, and it actually aligns with their interests, and it's aligned with looking after them and their needs. You do this often, people are going to trust you.
Shows
Makes
loyalty.
a lot of sense.
Shows loyalty. Shows you're there for them.
Yeah, and he went through in his podcast, which you can look up, one of our previous episodes. He's gone into detail using examples of how he's seen that in his career as a sociologist and so on and so forth, which is really interesting. So that was trust. And then about niyyah and intentionality, specifically what he was saying is how intention he described is living your life in such a way that you are guided by giving and not getting. So the more you give and the more you live your life and bring yourself to work or your home or whatever environment in giving rather than trying to get something out of it, that's how your intention, you could say, is, I guess, excellent. And he said that through his experience in his work, he looks at a team and he can scientifically correlate how fractious or how broken up the team is, how disunited, how there's disharmony and so on. And eventually the the breaking up of a team structure or organization just by how the average person is willing to give versus get. So the more they're trying to gain or have self-interests, the team structure breaks. But the more they're trying to give and benefit others, put others up for success, which is something that I try to do at work now. Like I don't take the credit always. I work with the team and I say, hey, call them out by name. Thanks to Patrick. Thanks to this one, So it
Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick.
Patrick knows if he's watching this.
All right, Patrick.
Patrick's the real person.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, but we put others in front of us. We know the success is from Allah. So we're not looking out for, hey, it was me. No. Allah will give you that success kind of thing. So
on that, because we have to share the microphone, otherwise.
Sorry, CD.
We went to hear.
Talking too much.
This guy's been waiting, so we've got to hear this guy's experience. So what was your experiences with?
I was actually very keen on hearing.
All right, sorry. Continue. Sorry, continue.
I reckon maybe he has one. Do you have any more?
No, look, I think I've basically summarized a great part of what he said.
Yeah,
focus on giving rather than getting, and then you see teams, families. Succeed.
It's really interesting because you look at all of these leadership books or self-help books, and you realize a lot of the concepts they talk about are deeply Islamic.
Subhanallah.
And actually, there's a lot more depth to it than they understand. And so there's a lot more that we can apply, especially the science of tasawwuf, which is the science of understanding the human heart, the disease of the heart. If somebody is working for themselves rather than, being selfish rather than selfless, all of that is related to tasawwuf. And understanding that and reading that in other people, and then understanding how to help them in their journey. SubhanAllah. There's so much wisdom that can be applied.
With Sheikh Ibrahim, subhanAllah, the topic for that podcast was sincerity. But you can see it through him, you can see it in him without him speaking anything, saying any words. As soon as he came to the Zawiya before the podcast, he came. Everyone was there?
I was there.
Everyone was there? Were you there?
I don't think I was.
So what happened was, my Sheikh was sitting on the chair, and we brought a chair for Sheikh Ibrahim as well. And then everyone decided to have a seat in front of them, maybe a small speech and whatever. And Sheikh Ibrahim refused to sit on the seat. He's like, I'm going to sit on the floor.
He wanted to relate with all of us. I can't do this. I need to be on the floor.
Even though he's a big sheikh himself, subhanAllah. He's a big sheikh, subhanAllah.
Anyways, that's something you observe. But for me, one of the guests that we had on the podcast, which unfortunately is not uploaded because the day we decided to record that, the day that it happened to land on that day, it was the weather was crazy. It was it was literally how was the rain?
Which?
Ahmed.
Oh, yes,
Sheikh
yeah,
Ahmed.
yeah. That was
It was
unfortunate as
pouring
well.
that day.
It
Yeah,
was-
that
It shows how far we've come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, in the old Zawiya where if it was raining, we'd hear a lot. We only had, certain mics.
yeah.
Now it can rain as much as they want.
Yeah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
But anyways, Sheikh Ahmed Maeno was he came here for
You spent a lot of time with him, didn't you?
yeah. I'll get onto that. Right?
Okay. Okay.
Hold your horses.
Our moments.
Give me your mics.
I can tell you everything about the Zawiya podcast.
Sheikh Ahmed was
The other man show.
his Sheikh Ahmed came from Japan.
Mhm.
He was subhanallah. He anyways, the podcast would have been amazing if you guys watched it, but unfortunately, it
Were you
didn't.
there?
No.
It was
That was a really good podcast, mashallah. It's a shame that we couldn't upload it, subhanAllah. It was a really good podcast.
It was a live podcast, by the way. It was one of those exclusive ones that we advertised for people to come if they
We
wanted
had
to
an
watch it live.
audience.
Yeah, we had a live audience.
I like those. ones.
It was amazing, but I had the opportunity, I had the honor and privilege to spend a lot of time
Mashallah, mashallah.
with him. Because he had a talk in ICV Masjid as well. So what happened was that day, from the morning, from breakfast until we had ICV, came back after Isha. We dropped him off for sleep, and I had the whole day to spend with him. Sheikh Ahmed, mashallah, I'll be a bit different. I'm not going to speak on the stuff I learned through his words, but what I observed from him.
Mashallah.
He was one of the most humble human beings I've ever seen.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
He was on a different level, man.
Really?
Like, it will be hard for me to speak about it because you just have to be there. And the way he carries himself, the way he interacts with you, the way he everything. Like just,
When you get Japanese adab, like their culture,
Yes.
plus
Seriously.
Islam and tasawwuf, you'll get a crazy combination of adab.
Japanese culture is very similar to what Islam
Yeah.
should be like.
one of the kindest
Crazy,
people.
man. Humble people.
And then
subhanAllah.
imagine now you put tasawwuf on it.
Oh,
These guys are.
that's such a good point.
Yeah. it's-
SubhanAllah, we picked him up in the morning. There was another brother with me. I'm not gonna mention names. Maybe they don't wanna, but you guys probably know. So we asked Sheikh Ahmed. We said, "Do you wanna for breakfast? Do you want Lebanese breakfast? Manouche? Do you want some Pakistani, Afghan breakfast, whatever?" And he said, "We said Pakistani." And he said, "Afghan food." We're like,
Yeah.
it was morning. What Afghan food? He's like Kabuli.
Oh, he said that?
He said Kabuli.
He mentioned Kabuli.
It's crazy, bro.
Me and the brother were like, we were shocked. We were like, Kabuli is like, is it maybe 9 a.m., 10 a.m.? Kabuli, which shop
The
even
infamous
is open?
Kabuli.
Which Afghan shop is even open at 10? But anyways, we're like, yeah, there is Afghan food. So we searched and there was one Afghan shop open.
Mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, then known for is mashallah. All the Afghan foods are there.
Mashallah, mashallah.
So we go to this African place, and we decided to order some. We ordered some eggs for us. We think normal, but it's fun. We ordered kabuli and
At 10 a.m.
kebab. Yeah,
10 a.m. Kabul, that's
10
crazy,
a.m.
bro.
kabuli. And Sheikh
Wait,
Ahmed,
just quick for the viewers. I'm sure most people know, but what is kabuli?
kabuli is an Afghan dish. It is one of the best foods you can have.
It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Kabuli,
Kabuli
Kabuli
is-
pulao, right?
Kabuli palau.
Palau.
It's rice with like meat, obviously. Like you can have shank, you can have everything. There's with carrots and raisins. And, yeah. So it's
Pretty
anyways,
heavy for 10 a.m.
Is there ghee in there as well? Ghee?
Depends what oil you use. Anyone can use anything. So to be honest, I'm not into cooking like that.
No,
Listen
bro,
now, the cooking show.
After this, can we just go and get some?
I come from an Afghan household, so maybe not
He's
for
like,
me.
let me
Quick-
text
quick-
my
quick
mom
into
real
It's
quick,
quick.
normal
guys.
for me. It's normal for me.
quick snack break, guys.
But subhanallah, just being with him in those daily stuff you do. Every time he spoke with you or asked for anything, it was always please and thank you. And this, it's very easy to say with words. We learned this in primary school. Say please and thank you for anything. But when have you seen someone use it consistently for everything.
Really?
And this is Sheikh Ahmed is not just a student of knowledge or Sheikh. He's a scholar, mashallah. He's a very
He's
big Sheikh.
translated one of the
Ihya Ulumuddin,
Ulumuddin,
Imam
right?
Ghazali's.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
gave that.
Japanese translation.
He gave that to us as a gift.
I think
His
it's on the
Japanese
table.
translation
I
of
think it's on
Ihya.
the table there.
It's somewhere there.
Should be somewhere there.
Really?
Maybe we can.
Yeah,
Like certain books in the Hadra.
Yeah.
he translated. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
he's translated.
Wait, from
Imam
Arabic
Ghazali's.
to Japanese?
Yeah,
Arabic to
Japanese,
Japanese.
yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It's
I didn't know
It's
that.
In the car ride, we just spoke Arabic, subhanAllah. The whole
Yeah.
car,
You-
yeah. And he told me
Yeah.
like he prefers to speak Arabic, and his English is really good. His Arabic is amazing, subhanAllah.
He's,
Like
he's
full Arabic,
amazing.
man. Yeah.
But subhanallah, please and thank you was his bread and butter. You know, you for any small thing, please.
His
thank
qabul
you.
and pilau.
It was qabul and palau. So please, thank you. But subhanallah, this and with people like this, what I learned from Sheikh Ahmed by observing him was to be careful around very humble people.
What do you mean?
I'll tell
I
you.
don't know. Whoa. Okay, right.
Tell you what I mean.
I'm sorry, bro.
When people are very humble, subhanallah, your guards go down. Now it's not just it's not your friends. Like we're friends, all right? Even here, I have to be careful because you guys, mashallah, are very humble people.
Wow. He
Very humble.
He calling us old.
But for a sheikh, a big sheikh, when he makes you feel like a friend, and he makes you feel so relaxed with him, your guards go down. So the adab that you need to show that they deserve, the respect they deserve, it starts like it can go down
Yeah.
because your guards are down. You're like he's like a friend. I can say anything. I can get away with anything. So this I learned that you have to be very careful when people are extremely humble, especially if they are people of Allah, very close to Allah, because you're gonna mess with if you disrespect them, you show bad adab, then you're kind of in trouble, man.
Yes, right.
This is someone who's very close to Allah. So imagine you start. I'm not saying you don't act like as a like friend or whatever, but you have to be careful to not
There's something.
to
There's
establish and keep and maintain the adab and the respect that this person deserves.
There's a concept which I've read on before. I believe it's called the bane of familiarity. It's like when you become so familiar with someone that you drop all of your etiquette and stuff with them, which is exactly what you
100%.
described.
100%.
Ever since I read that, and ever since I've read about that, I've been thinking a lot about how we should double down even more, which is
Yeah,
what you're
100%.
saying. As soon as people become more you increase your respectfulness towards them. You don't let your
Complacency.
standards. Yeah, don't be complacent. Don't let your standards fall. Because as you said, it's a big mistake.
That's a very good lesson.
Yeah,
It's fun. It's
profound.
because it's some things we can learn through words, through classes and stuff. But there's a lot that we can learn just by observing these amazing people. And Sheikh Ahmed, he used to live in Melbourne.
Yeah, that's right.
Like years,
25 years ago or
25
something.
years ago, like
Yeah.
something like that. So after we spent the day with him, went for some walk in the park and whatnot. Later on he had a talk at ICV in the city. So when after we finished there, same thing. The brother asked. He said, "Do you wanna? There's some Turkish food around, and what do you want to eat?" And he's like, "African."
Subhanallah. Wow.
They must not have much Afghans in
Huge
Yeah,
amounts
bro,
of
yeah.
African food, man. From the city, like this was late at night after like the talk was late at night. Or like this close by the shops, Turkish shops. You want to wait until then? He's like, yeah, no problem.
Let's go.
No problem. I'll wait until then. And on the way, he used to live in St Kilda, I believe.
Caulfield, you said. Yeah,
St.
but
Kilda.
I don't know if you want to say the information from a camera though.
Yeah, but this was like 25 years ago. Anyways, we visited his old, we went to the St. Kilda beach, I think. It was St. Kilda beach. And another thing I learned was how, like, productive he is with his time.
MashaAllah.
Like, these people are productive, very productive, even the small things. We got out of the car, parked the car, quickly go to the beach, and he's leading us. Me and the brother, we're like
He even walks fast.
he walks very fast. We're like keeping up with him.
Wow.
He goes to the beach. He takes some photos with us with his thing, and he says, "Oh yeah, I used to come," and then boom, straight back to the car. and we're just running after him. He is so like he had a sense of urgency, like straight business, quick finished, and then like there was no like every minute is important.
Bro, that reminds me of the prophetic character, bro. When you're walking, you're walking as if you're walking down a hill. You know, you're making the most of every moment.
And he looked so cool as well because he had his Japanese
His robe.
he had his Japanese robe, so he would just walk around and you can see this. It was very cool, like Japanese.
Harley with the commander thing was good, mashallah. But Sita, now it's your turn. You've got to enlighten us now.
I think a recent podcast with Ustadh Turhan is always a good reminder for me. Even though I've been to his classes before, I think learning about the struggle of Bidyo Zaman Sayyid Nursi and his kind of experience going through struggle and the lessons from that, it's always a good reminder.
Yes.
So
And a modern one too. It's not like from 500-600 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking within the last
century.
years.
Last 200 years.
At least within the last 200 years.
Yeah. And the biggest lesson there for me is always that it doesn't matter what calamity or supposed calamity you face in life. You know, it could be the worst things. It could be a lot of sickness. It could be, death. It could be a lot of different things, right? Even if you don't understand the hikmah or the intention behind that so-called calamity, you know that it's coming from a divine source.
Allah.
And you know that divine source is perfectly merciful, that it's perfectly just, and it's all-knowing. You know, and just knowing that is enough for you to understand that actually it's not really a calamity. And there is no such thing as a calamity other than what takes you away from Allah.
Subhanallah.
And so, when you go through these periods, you then realize that it's actually the best way for you to gain an understanding of Allah and the different attributes of Allah, whether they're Jamali or Jalali attributes. And that actually brings you closer to Allah. And that is the ideal, optimal scenario, whatever happens. And the analogy I always love hearing about is, if we didn't know what darkness was, we would have no idea what light actually means.
Subhanallah.
And we wouldn't be able to appreciate it.
Subhanallah.
And if you take that one step further and you look at, the ayahs in the Quran, Bismillah, Allahu nur as-samawati wal ard. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth.
Subhanallah.
So what does that mean? We would have no idea what that word light, nur, even means. At least by experiencing darkness, you can understand at least an infinitely small example of what light might mean. And that helps you understand the attribute of Allah and Quran as well.
There's a person I went to university with, very intellectual guy. He's like a leader in the marketing world in the Middle East now. May Allah bless him. And he taught me 10 years ago this concept that things are known by their opposites. You only know happiness by sadness, darkness by light, black by white, and so on. You only understand these realities once you've experienced the opposites.
Exactly. And I think this is so important in today's age because everybody has burdens. Everybody has stress. There's so much uncertainty. It's quite chaotic, right? And if you're just able to really internalize that concept, that nothing is a calamity except for what brings you away from Allah, and everything actually helps you understand Allah and get to know Him better, then you can live life relaxed.
Like cruising.
You're cruising because you really internalize and you understand that.
Actually, there was in one of the introductions of one of the books, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. It's not even my book, but but it just came to my head. But in one of those introductory sessions, our Sheikh was talking about how uncertainty is something a lot of people in the modern world have a difficult time contending with. When there's uncertainty, people are doubling down on how to get certainty. But the greatest relaxation point comes when you you let go into fi amanillah, as you say. You just let go into Allah's got me. Like, I might not know where this is going, how this is going, when it's going to work, but
Drowning in the ocean of Tawheed.
Subhanallah. These sort of concepts are so transformative for people, especially as they are drowning in this modern sort of context. And they need to be taught by people who are capable to teach them, and they need to be received in the best way, slowly and gently, so that it can have maximum impact. So, subhanallah.
It was actually a very good point. It was a very good point, that one. Imagine someone being unemployed and they just, every day is 24 hours they're going to waste it. But then for someone who's busy, who hasn't, is the complete opposite. Someone who's busy, that 1 hour they have, like free time, they're going to be like, this is
It's like the grass is always greener on the other side,
Exactly.
right?
That's
That's
right.
the nature of the dunya. That
Subhanallah, yeah.
it's never going to satisfy you.
No, never.
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah. This year's... Oh, sorry, go
How
on.
about yourself?
Yeah, you guys subhanAllah covered all the main points that I want to discuss, subhanAllah. So
That's why you go first, then.
that's right, guys. No, I'll take you last.
We had such a variety of guests. I'm just thinking about that. We had like Sheikh Ibrahim from South Africa. We had Sheikh Ahmed Maeno from Japan.
Yeah.
Ustadh Turhan is local.
Yes.
Background is Turkish. And then you had Sheikh
Mustafa
Mustafa.
Briggs. Yeah.
Mustafa Briggs,
America / Senegal.
UK slash...
America.
UK.
Sorry, UK. I'm so
UK,
sorry.
UK.
Yeah.
So, subhanAllah, such a variety of how beautiful is Islam. Just, everywhere
every
across the
corner,
world,
yeah.
all the way to Japan.
It's crazy.
One of the miracles actually is that, like, having all of this in a very short period of time, CD, 5 months, so much content, so much blessings and benefits.
This is our
coming out.
second episode together. Every other episode?
No, third.
When?
We had our first one.
Oh,
We
yes.
had the Cedar special.
But then every other one, like in just
Yeah.
with the
Just
with
came
the amount
up.
of connections or contacts we had, subhanallah, we had some some big scholars and shaykh.
all from the middle of Ahlullah, subhanAllah. Just all from the middle of our Shaykh, subhanAllah.
And not just podcast. I mean, we've had so many other events that we've been organizing. And one of
Yes.
them, of course, is the Grand Mawlid that we did recently. Sidi Karam, I thought you're
Yes.
always involved in the
You'll be
planning.
roaring for this. Come on, Sidi.
I thought, Sadie, it's true. For the last two the Sira conferences or Grand Mawlids, I was very heavily involved, as you guys remember, in the logistics and delivery. This year, I stepped back a little bit,
Inshallah.
as you pertinently noticed, CD, when we were talking.
I wish you stayed, but
No, but it's
you ran when you were in charge. You ran. It was so good, subhanAllah.
May Allah bless you, CD. But
And you.
I'm so glad. My personal reflections on this first. I'm so glad that I did step back in a very strong way and took more of a supporting role, because I got to see the professionalism and the leveling up of all of the brothers and sisters of the tariqah and the people who also volunteered to help. This year was, I think it was comfortably our best function in the last 5 years.
Easily.
And the level of excellence in terms of the decorations, if you remember the floral arrangements, obviously the venue itself was so beautiful. It was this year held at the Keysborough Turkish Islamic Community Center.
Big thanks to them, subhanAllah,
KTICC.
for facilitating our Mawlid, subhanAllah. Big thanks to them.
Barakallah fikum. And in their masjid, which is basically a Turkish style, Turkey style masjid, effectively resembling like the Blue
Beautiful
Mosque
architecture,
and
subhanAllah.
that
Beautiful
architecture. So, but yeah, like I was saying, the decorations, the way in which all of the asyad and the sisters also worked like so seamlessly, hand in hand, to deliver the program, pre-program, and also during the program. The acoustics, the range of shuyukh that we had there. We had people from the local council. We had a spectrum of shuyukh from different madhahib and from different communities.
Priests comes up.
We had
Catholic
interfaith.
Anglican priests.
Yeah, we had an interfaith delegation. We had
Wait, it was like an ambassador or something that also came? The Turkish?
I think yes, there was a
Yes, he was.
representative,
Yes.
even from a delegation from a foreign nation and so on and so forth. So it was
And of course, Munshid came from
Ahbab al-Mustafa and our local
Sheikh
Sheikh
Mansour.
Sheikh
Zaita.
Mansour, Sheikh Mansour Zaita and Ahbab al-Mustafa. And then, of course, Anwar al-Madina, which also is part of that arrangement, working so well. I think speaking to so many people who attend as part of our interviews, post-program, I'm very comfortable to say that this was definitely our best one. People enjoyed it so much. People derived so much benefit. You saw people crying. I remember looking and seeing people literally connected to Allah and the reality of the Prophet ﷺ so deeply, they were moved to tears.
Oh yeah.
This is it's definitely a privilege to have been part of being part of the delivery of something like this. People are becoming a lot more aware of the reality and the rank and status of the Prophet ﷺ.
So, yes.
You know, we learned that there's ayahs in the Quran which clearly state his rank. ما كان محمدا أبا أحد من رجالكم ولكن رسول الله and وخاتم النبيين and so on and so forth. Like this, that rank is unlike anything we know. And being able to connect through inshad, through recitation of the Quran, through the presentation of the blessed Shar, and by the way, the delivery of that was excellent.
Yes.
People had so much time to be
وضلوع التي عشقها ما فتي يا حبيبي عسى أنت في مهجتي وضلوع التي عشقها ما فتي يا حبيبي عسى.
and really reflect on the Prophet.
It's very reminiscent as well when people give salam to some Medina. It was so reminiscent. That's probably like
Can you explain the ashar? Like, what is that?
Yes, which so much adab. So we had obviously the blessed relic, the sha'r, the hair of the Prophet ﷺ, which was in presentation during the Sira conference, Grand Mawlid, and people were able to, because of the excellent organization of the brothers and sisters, to take their time in a line and come and give salams and pay their respects, of course, to the Prophet ﷺ, who was we're waiting to be reunited with, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to waiting to be given water from his hands when we pass out of this life and we are resurrected and we meet him, inshallah. So I think
how amazing is it to have that in Australia? All the way from back during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, when the Sahaba would collect the
hadith say, as you all know very well, that the Sahaba were fighting to collect these relics of the Prophet ﷺ. And one of them happens to be with us, alhamdulillah,
with an authentic
not just any what's the saying, and not any Tom, Dick and Harry claiming they have something, So subhanAllah, it's something that, just like the way the way any other science has been preserved, is the same thing, the same concept of sanad and a chain of narration that goes back to the Prophet ﷺ.
And as you know, like these concepts, isnad, stuff like that, are things that people in this community now are realizing the importance of and its place, and how things like this have been able to have been put in place by the early scholars to preserve Islam. I mean, without which, how many of us can claim to be Muslim? So really, really valuing this particular isnad or the sanad that verifies the authenticity of the blessed Shar, which we were able to witness. And inshallah, we hope that there'll be many more opportunities. Anyway, enough of me talking about the Sira conference.
No, it's good, Masha. It's good.
Please,
Mashallah. So, what do you got for us? You played a pretty big role in this Mawlid, subhanAllah.
Not really, but
Surely got some reflections for us.
I think during the Mawlid, there was a moment where I was close to the front and I looked back at everyone. And how many people were there, do you think?
I think, Sidis, Jazakallah khair, I think the most that we've had close, so the capacity of the mosque is about 1,000 to 1,200. I could comfortably say we had about 600.
I agree. I think 600.
So I looked back and I saw 600 people all reciting salawat.
Yeah.
سمعونا الصلاة على النبي.
Together.
Wow.
In union.
I remember that.
And it was something which really brings goosebumps.
Subhanallah.
And you look at it, and then you see people crying, you see people
Subhanallah.
emotionally affected, you see people passionate, you see people connected, and you hear that all in union, and it's just the most amazing experience. It really makes a huge impact on your heart. And you look back and you think, how is this not common in Australia? You know, look at the effect that it has on people. So I think just looking back, you know, people's faces lighting up and how that day itself was enough to transform people's heart.
We can probably put some clips as well because we have a recording of it.
Yeah, we should.
Or even the we'll put even put the link in the bio for the full.
Yeah,
because it was very nicely put together and recorded as well.
When you mentioned that, I just had a spine tingling moment. I was remembering where everyone was saying, Ya Rabbi bihim wa bi alihim ajil bin nasri wa bil faraji. Like together. I felt it, bro.
It was good. It was good. It was
And
good.
you know, this is people who have just had the most stressful week. They're at work. They spent a third of their life or their week or their day at work.
In one day.
You know, and
Did we do it on a weekday?
I don't know, but
It was,
you know,
it was a weekend. It was
they were
Sunday.
disconnected. You know,
100%.
and just having that moment, you know, with all the burdens that they have and
100%.
lack of connection, to actually just connect, and you know, it's so important.
That's cool.
SubhanAllah. So to be able to facilitate that and to witness that was amazing.
MashaAllah.
100%. 100%.
I was one of the first big events, gatherings that I've been after I became practicing was actually this Sira conference or the Mawlid 2 years ago.
2023, yeah? I remember that one.
2020
In Ummah Center?
Yeah, Ummah Center.
in Ummah Center.
2023.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
I
remember that one.
I remember that you
Yeah.
were
We
organizing
do
one
the
of that.
carpets and all that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, the year before that.
The
The year before that one.
The year
then I
before
wasn't
that.
involved.
No,
Yeah,
you guys
the
weren't
day
there. You
before.
guys
You
were
got-
not
you-
Tariqa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this
You weren't
was-
there. You guys weren't there.
Really?
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
guys.
So it'd been 3 years ago then.
Yeah,
It's
that
three-
was
it's 3 years ago.
No, because this one was yeah.
No,
So
the-
3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago. Because
Yes.
because the first one that I went was 3 years ago.
No, I don't think so. No, hold
Anyway,
on.
yeah.
It was-
Okay.
it was-
No, we have to get this right.
No.
It said, okay, not this year.
This
not
year,
last
because this year just finished. I'm not counting
Yeah.
this year, but the one
Guys, it was
before,
3 years
not
ago,
that
man.
one, but the one before that.
So 2023.
It was 23.
No.
Because that time, you know why?
It
Sorry.
was 23, but no, but
we were studying fiqh together.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, but it wasn't that one. It was
You did one before that?
you weren't involved in the setup.
You guys were not
You guys
Tariqa
were not
at the time.
involved. Yeah,
This is the
Yeah,
very,
yeah,
very
yeah.
beginning.
But even you weren't.
Yeah, but I
Yeah, he was,
wasn't
yeah.
in there when I
So
went to
I
that.
scammed him. I was
But
like,
anyway,
come to this
continue,
annual conference.
continue.
Anyways,
And he got swindled in a good way. Sorry.
yeah. So it was one of the bigger events that I attended after I became practicing. I was with my brother maybe and some friends and stuff. We looked. It said a Sira conference. Let's go.
That was my first one, as well, by the way. Like my first prop one. that I
First
attended.
one?
First. Since I was a kid, yeah.
Did you guys know each other at the time?
Yeah. I,
So you brought him, basically.
yeah, so I told him, like, just come for just the annual conference. We'll just come speak about the love of Rasul, just, remind each other.
Yeah,
And,
it's gaslighting.
so
Yeah.
definitely not a
That's what it
Mawlid.
was.
Huh?
That's
Yeah.
what it
Yeah,
was.
no, it was. No, he's making it seem like he tricked me. But anyways, I came. I was sitting front row. Subhanallah. I remember the mashayikh table, or seat. Sorry, it was like maybe 5, 6, 7 shaykh. It was like so small, and then they had 3 munshidin on the table on the left.
Yes.
And then they had some people come. There was a few people here. There's like gaps everywhere. Like, you know, the grass that has been like one grass patchy, one grass here.
Yeah,
so like people sitting everywhere.
Yes.
So this is the first event, and then the following year, subhanAllah, I was involved in helping set up and helping run the event, whatever. And subhanAllah, the difference between that first year that I attended in the second year was crazy. Like even the shuyukh table, I like to compare the shuyukh table. Like it started off as this, and then it went like this.
Yes.
And then this year,
علماء كمان وراث النبي الحضور كمان عشاق النبي أنا ضعيف في جوين النبي أنا مشتاق أشوفك 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 يا نبي أنا
this was mind blowing. This was the
Exponential growth, subhanAllah.
this one was subhanallah. It was like it was crazy. Like you guys need to watch the video. We're gonna put the video. It was amazing. Like it just goes to show how far you can go with the right with some sincerity. Obviously not my sincerity, but subhanallah, our Sheikh and everyone else who's involved, and how much Allah can give you just by having the right intentions. Because in 2 years, subhanAllah, that much growth is not normal.
Before the so when we were doing the pre setup of the conference, we had some Zoom catch ups with the volunteers and things. And I remember Maulana Sayyidina Sheikh mentioning that, what we're doing here is we're trying to connect people to the Prophet ﷺ.
Allah.
This is a way of representing the Prophet ﷺ in the best light. So you're doing a great service to Allah and the Rasul ﷺ. So remember what an impact you have. This is not just any conference. This is highly impactful. And what were we doing? If I can just recall, we were feeding people. We were reciting salawat. We were reciting Quran. We were getting people to connect to the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. What else?
Yeah, we were reading the seerah and reading about the life of the Prophet.
This is what constitutes the
I
Mawlid.
also liked how some we had some shuyukh from different tariqas. So some of them would come, for example, there's a Shadhili Sheikh. I forget his name now, which is not good. I should know his name, subhanAllah. And he read a bit of Hizb Bahr as well. And I found that very nice.
Remember that.
Oh,
Yes, that was very nice too.
So doing all these things and basically representing the seerah and connecting the community to the Prophet ﷺ was so beneficial.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, it really was.
What about you, CD?
You keep waiting for the last person. I think he wants to just like skip. It's like, oh yeah, you guys said my points. There's no point of me speaking now. Yeah, like,
Let's move on, guys.
give
You mentioned
something
everything I was thinking.
Yeah, you guys did, yeah.
Actually, I was thinking about the exact same one.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You 10 minutes to speak about it.
No. Nah, we've got a lot to cover, subhanAllah. So, but basically, this is a special moment, subhanAllah. Alhamdulillah that Allah has given me the opportunity to help serve Rasulullah and all of us, and to serve our Sheikh as well in this. So if it wasn't for our Sheikh, none of this would be happening, subhanAllah. And like you said, subhanAllah, when he told us that this is for Rasulullah, this is for our Prophet, this is to show our love for him and get people to grow their love for him, subhanAllah. So it's in one angle, it's massive da'wah, and then in another angle as well, you're commemorating Allah's greatest creation. As Allah says in the Quran, it says, وَتَعَزِّرُهُ وَتُوَقِّرُهُ وَتُسَبِّحُهُ. And our responsibilities towards our Rasul is to support him, is to be with him, is to glorify him.
Allah.
Right? This is Allah says in the Quran, subhanAllah.
Ya Allah.
So, alhamdulillah, and what better way to celebrate and support our Prophet other than to bring his name out, subhanAllah, in a place 14,000 kilometers away from his birth and his death, subhanAllah.
More than 1,500 years after.
Exactly, subhanAllah. Imagine that.
But we're still speaking about him.
Yes.
We still love him.
Yes.
We're still connected to him.
Yes.
We still seek his intercession on that day.
Yes, subhanAllah. So shall we ask Allah that He accepts from us and writes this deed that we did in our books and make it a means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to be with Rasulullah
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
on the day that we see him. Ameen.
Ameen.
But no, generally, you guys did touch on most things that I want to speak on. I'll be honest, I was trying to focus very hard on making sure that my roles were being fulfilled, and even then, subhanAllah, I managed to slip a few times. But I think the most amazing aspect was when the blessed hair of Sayyidina Rasulullah was placed there. and people giving salam to him, salam, really just took me back to Medina, subhanAllah. It was so reminiscent of Medina, subhanAllah, and having the Inshad playing and everyone being in unison, you know, having one thing in their heart, which is Sayyidina Rasulullah. That was the highlight of the event, subhanAllah. And again, if it's not for Mawlid, how else would people reach their closeness to Rasulullah? Like, you can't get any closer than that if you're not in Medina, subhanAllah.
Getting closer, learning as well.
Yes.
Because it's not just, perfect. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Approved.
Thank you.
Speaking about Mawlids and Mawalid, we don't only hold a Mawlid, obviously, for the Prophet ﷺ, but obviously we remember these great scholars of the past as well. We hold a monthly Mawlid about a great scholar of the past. So we study their lives. A day to remember them. It's not like one specific day, but it's good
Not
to...
just scholars, saints and figures,
Saints, everyone,
and people who are close to Allah, who are very significant in Islam, subhanAllah.
Because we do that monthly, I want to ask you guys, what were your favorite Mawlid or Mawalid?
I think it's fair if we ask these two first, and then I'll come with my conclusion afterwards. But no, jokes aside, subhanAllah, I've with Mawlid, subhanAllah, just why are they so significant and so important is because, subhanAllah, you can't foster and cultivate love towards someone unless you know them. Right? You can't love someone that you don't know anything about. SubhanAllah. How do you foster that love? It's very hard, right?
It's true.
In exceptional circumstances, possible, but without, and even if you do love them, your love will be limited until you have an understanding and learn about who this figure is. And you learn about their values, what they lived for, what they cared for, and learning that they were on the same mission as us. They loved the Rasulullah. They were there to serve Allah. And what better way to relate to someone other than being able to say that I share the same mission as this great saint, subhanAllah. And this is what our Mawalid we do, subhanAllah, by discussing, commemorating these great figures, all the way from Ahlul Bayt. We just came back from doing a Mawlid of Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam, the daughter of Rasulullah, learning about her, going all the way to Sayyidi Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, Sheikh Nur Hussein, Imam Bahauddin Naqshband, Imam Hussein as well, subhanAllah, all these great names. Every single moment that we do, and we repeat these things because we learn more things every year. Now, alhamdulillah, we've had some modes where we've done more than once a year, subhanAllah. And each time we have a mawlid, we learn new things about this, subhanAllah. And then every time, for me at least, I learn something new about this person, my love grows for this person, subhanAllah. Because now I understand, wow, this is what he cared for. This is what he valued, subhanAllah. How great was this individual, subhanAllah.
Just to imagine you're on the street and two people are in trouble. One is your friend that you know very well, and there's one that just you don't even know. Who are you gonna help? Who are you gonna help first?
Well, first you got to support the truth, but yeah.
You're gonna help your friend because your friend, you know your friend.
Of course.
You love your friend.
Of course.
So it's just like you have a deeper connection with your friend, anyways.
100%. No, 100%. Exactly that. So yeah, like knowing someone, subhanAllah, it helps fosters that love towards subhanAllah. And but as for which one stood out to me, I really enjoy the mawlid, subhanAllah. Every mawlid I just love learning about someone new, subhanAllah. Every month learn about someone you can connect. It just, in your head you have this sort of this hegemony, this group of people, subhanAllah, who shared all your values and they all stood what you stood for. And as the number grows, you're reminded that you are part of something big, and the bigger it grows, you learn that you're part of something even bigger and bigger and bigger.
SubhanAllah. Can I just jump into
that?
Yeah,
of course.
Although, Sayyidi Taha, like, I had Sheikh Badawi in my mind.
Allah.
But I want to just connect to what you just mentioned, and I'll go and turn it around a bit and instead say Shaykh Shadhili, without going into too much detail about what we learned specifically. But why Shaykh Shadhili? Because I had, in one of our previous episodes, mentioned that I had come back from a family trip in Sri Lanka. And during that trip, we did a Hadra. And it was a Shadhili Hadra done by the students of the Arabic college where my ancestral family is from in Gaul. And I remember talking to you guys about the Hadra and how basically it was dhikr, and every different majlis and tariqah have a different way of doing things, like a tartib. So I described it to you all. But coming back from that and connecting to my past through learning the Mawlid of Shaykh Shadhili in the Zawiya year upon year just really is so special for me, because I get to connect to my roots. If you know your past, then you know where your future is.
Yes.
Whereas if you're cut off or disconnected,
That's right.
naturally you'll be lost.
That's right.
So I guess I don't have too much to say about the details necessarily, whether it's Sheikh Badawi or Sheikh Tijani or Sheikh Shadhili, but it's beautiful, because some people ask me, like, in my family, they ask me, well, why do you learn about all these sheikhs? Like, what's the point of doing this, basically, Mawalid? Why don't you connect to the Prophet ﷺ and learn this seerah? That's all you need to know, right? This is a concept that comes across to me a lot. And I realize and I reflect that because we do these Mawalid, meaning reflection sessions on the stories and lives and times and struggles that these particular individuals have done to preserve the Quran and the Sunnah over 1,500 years, makes me appreciate the Islam so much more. It's not to say that we don't study the seerah, but we study the seerah, we also study the lives of the inheritors of the seerah. They also have something special to show you, which all ultimately connects you back to the Prophet ﷺ. So you're not losing anything in that.
Right.
You're strengthening your connection to the Prophet ﷺ and Islam through all of these awliya, basically.
That's such a good point.
من رسول الله
Nusratu.
ملتمس
Allah.
بحرا أو رشفا. Oh, what's the verse? وكل من رسول help me out, guys. Hey, basically, it's important though.
Rashfa min ad-diyami.
Yeah. بحرا أو رشفا. Yeah. So everyone from some is trying to take scoops or handfuls of water from his business, subhanAllah. So everyone's carrying something of some in this, subhanAllah. So we can benefit from everyone, because everyone has a bit of the light and the nur and the madad of some in them. So we can that's beautiful, subhanAllah. We benefit from all of them, subhanAllah. Everyone has a bit of Rasul in them.
SubhanAllah. The Imam Shadhili, I think, was one of my favorite Mawalid as well. That really, just learning about Imam Shadhili and how important Imam Shadhili was in history and for tasawwuf especially. And I remember when we talked about one of the things that makes Imam Shadhili so unique is that he has so many different his litanies and adhkar that are associated with him, that he was inspired by, like du'as basically, right? So you have, a lot of different ones. Like one of them, Sidi Abdul Rahman's favorite one, Hizb al-Nasr, which people used to, it's a adhkar that people used to read when they were in warfare, right? But one of the most common ones...
You can't rebuild that destroying.
Yeah.
No, why? Sorry if I don't mind. The reason why we're all laughing, we have to explain, is one day that, we had a request to recite the other dua, Hizb al-Bahr.
Yeah.
And instead he had said, okay, I will recite Hizb al-Nasr. And then basically we were like to him,
it was for someone who had an exam.
yeah, we don't want you to destroy the university, bro. Just relax, man. We just need your dua for success. That's all.
And the way he sends his duas as well, it's like as a delivery, it's like Hizb al-Bahr sent.
In this case, it was Hizb
like,
al-Nasr.
received, thank you.
Yeah, no one said received. I'm waiting for someone to say received. No one says received.
Anyway, tafadhal.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. So Hizb al-Bahr, the second one, is something that we often, recite for each other when, one person has difficulty or needs some assistance. This is one of the most famous du'as or adhkars that you can read. And Hizb al-Bahr, which it translates as the litany of the sea, has such an interesting story behind it. And so this story is something that I wanted to share. And in the story, Imam Shadhili is basically going to do Hajj. He set off to do Hajj, and he's gone into a ship. And the ship includes like non-Muslims and a variety of people. And they're going to Hajj from Cairo, I believe, to Mecca, Medina. And all of a sudden, this, volatile wind and weather conditions start hitting the ship. And they actually start getting pushed back towards Cairo. And, there's so much kind of volatility. So what they do is they stop off in some uninhabited place off the Nile. And they wait, 1 day, maybe it'll improve. 2 days, it'll improve. 1 week goes by, and the time for Hajj is starting to become almost impossible, basically impossible to get there in time. And so what Imam Shadhili does is, in his sleep, the Prophet ﷺ comes to him in his sleep and recites a dua. Is dua the right way to translate his?
It is dua. It is dua. Yeah.
So the Prophet ﷺ recites a dua in his dream, and Imam Shadhili wakes up and he immediately remembers this dua, recites it, and he goes back into the ship and he says, put the sails back up. We're going to Hajj. The captain of the ship is like, how? The weather is still, not right. It doesn't make sense. We'll probably get pushed back into Cairo if we do. And even if we want to go back to Cairo, it's too volatile. We might not even survive. So Imam Shadhili was so convinced. He said, the Prophet ﷺ has come to my dream and shared this dua with me. And everyone got on the ship. And the wind basically changed 180 degrees and pushed them towards Mecca and Medina in record time, which was almost impossible.
Allah.
And so this dua is so famous. It's been, it's recited. There's been people writing about it, scholars throughout history who have mentioned its benefits in protection, in ease, in facilitating goodness.
And it's a word in some tariqas other than the Shadhili also. In different tariqas, they'll have Hizb Bahr as their word, subhanAllah. Even though they're not Shadhilis.
SubhanAllah. So I wanted to basically just mention one of the quotes that Sidi Ahmed Zaruq al-Shadhili mentions off the Hizb al-Bahr. And his commentary, and why we place so much importance in it and recite it often. And he says that whatever it is, invoke the litany of the sea and it will show you wonders. It will give you ease in your affairs and lend you strength. You will find the sea obedient and the wind submissive. You will find gentleness quickly and your time will be joyful. And I remember that one of the commentators said that it might have been Imam Shadhili himself, that if this was recited in, I believe it's Baghdad or Iraq, then it wouldn't have been conquered by the Mongols. SubhanAllah. So I think just the power and value of Hizb al-Bahr was one of the highlights for me.
At the end of the day, we understand that we take the means and Allah delivers the outcome.
Of course.
The outcome is delivered by Allah.
Of course. But I was going to say this, that a lot of people don't know this, subhanAllah. And also I want to mention this as well. Because obviously we are Qadri, so we have to mention our Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, of course. This episode can't go without mentioning him, subhanAllah. He has his own Hizb al-Bahr as well, that people don't know. Yes, he has his own Hizb al-Bahr as well. But one of the moments, and
it's actually called Hizb al-Bahr.
Yeah, yes, he has his own.
Yes, actually,
Shaykh has his own Hizb al-Bahr.
Really?
Yes,
I've seen it.
Yes, and we've been told by Sheikh to recite it sometimes, though. But obviously, there's details to it. But we've been, I remember one of the stories of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, subhanAllah, and his stories are every Mawlid, subhanAllah, it's this sort of stories of it's repeated, subhanAllah, but because it's so profound. He said that my journey started. So every wali, usually their journey starts from some sort of trigger point, you can say, or some sort of value that they had, right? And for Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, he said my journey started from being sincere, which was when he left that when he was 16 years old. His mom told him, "Don't lie." Just tell the truth. And
can you tell us why he left, where he was going?
So he was at the age of 16, because Shaykh Abdul Qadir was from Gailan, right? Which is, I think it's North Iran, right?
Yeah.
And he wanted to travel to Baghdad to learn, because at the time that's where the hub of Islam was, right? In Baghdad. So at the age of 16, he told his mom he wants to leave and study. And she said, no worries, go take everything that you need. And she gave him some money, some gold coins. She said, whatever you do, just say the truth. Stick to the truth. Whatever you do. Don't lie. Stick to the truth. I said, no worries. So then he went on his journey, subhanAllah, and then and so he found a group of people to go, because in those days you don't travel alone. You travel with a group of people, with a caravan. And then they got stopped by robbers, subhanAllah. And then so one of the robbers, so they stuck everyone up. And then as the robbers went to go and rob everyone there, when they got to this young man, and they said, have you got any money? And I was like, Yes. Like, what? Okay.
It's like we didn't find any.
yeah. So, all right. So they searched him. Well, there's no money. And it's like, because you didn't ask me where the money was. So where's the money? It's like right here. And he pulled it out. The robber was just dumbfounded.
And it was I think it was sewn.
It was in
garment.
his sleeve. Yes. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, he's just like, why don't you just ask? I'll just give you right now.
It's like, it was a lot of gold coins, like 20 dinars, a lot of money.
Yeah, well, it was gold coins. Yeah, so it's a lot of money, especially that's all you have to take with you. Like, you know, so yeah, like all his wealth, subhanAllah.
And then what happened?
So then the robbers were dumbfounded. They went to the leader and they're like, hey, this young man, he just gave us his money. Like, we didn't rob him. And because the robbers at the time, they were Muslim as well, right? Obviously not very good Muslims because they're high robbers. But because there's still a bit of iman in them, subhanAllah. So the leader comes in, he's like, show me the kid. And they go to him and he's like, this young man here. And he said, why did you do that? Why did you tell them that your money's here? He said, because I've been told to always stick to the truth and only but the truth and nothing but the truth. And because that's how he says that all robbers, they shook themselves, their heart shook. They went into a state where subhanAllah, they just fell in repentance and they said, because of this, we repent from all our sins. And they left their life of robbery, subhanAllah, and became devout Muslims, subhanAllah.
Wow.
At the age of 16, subhanAllah. And many stories from Shaykh Abdul Qadir, subhanAllah, many stories, and even subhanAllah, all the awliya, the saints at his time, agreed that he was the qutb of all the time. So the greatest wali, the closest person to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was him. And
From the awliya.
from the awliya. So the most closest person to Allah at the time was Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani. No one in the world had a higher rank than him, subhanAllah.
At that time.
At that time, and some say even to be honest, even after all time. But we also all the awliya, we have them on our heads. Respect all the awliya, of course. But yeah, for someone to be at that rank, and everyone agreed, that he was at that time the highest ranking person, subhanAllah. And even yeah, I can go.
I think what you were going to say is like, even nowadays, if you ask anybody on the street about Shaykh Abdul Qadir, they will have nothing to
no one,
throw
yeah.
on him.
And whatever side of the pond you belong to in terms of your methodology and your orientation in Islam.
I mean, that's a proof that Allah has protected him.
Yes,
He's unanimously
agreed
yes.
upon.
respected.
Yes.
And
Well, all sects are Muslims, all sects, subhanAllah. No one will say bad thing about it, subhanAllah.
Yeah, subhanAllah. So we talked about our Grand Mawlid. We talked about the different Mawalid we did.
Oh wait, sorry, we missed out. What was your special Mawlid? What did you enjoy? What stuck with you?
Oh, you just took everything that I was going to say.
Oh, subhanAllah, khair. All right.
But I will just add a little bit. I was going to say the same as well. Like, subhanAllah. And also, I remember when we held Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani's Mawlid, it was outside in the Zawiya. It wasn't in the inside of the Zawiya, it was on the outside. And we had some shuyukh as well come.
Because there was so many people.
Yes.
So, that was one of my favorites as well.
It was nice, subhanAllah.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was
on
very
the outside, we had a nice
massive feast.
little stage for the inshad
Yes. It was beautiful. Yes.
shuyukh as well. So
It was beautiful, subhanAllah.
You were saying?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, on the topic of kind of reflecting on the different things we did, we talked about the Grand Mawlid. We talked about first the podcast, talked about the Grand Mawlid, different Mawalid we did every month. And the other thing that we just all did recently is go to a retreat. SubhanAllah.
The cherry on the top.
SubhanAllah. And oh man, the retreat is always the highlight of my year.
Yeah.
And we went, all of us. How many people were there all together?
We're about 50.
60, I heard. 60, no?
Yeah.
Close to 50 to 60.
60, yeah.
SubhanAllah. So, the retreat is always my favorite because you really get to kind of log off from the dunya. And, so you leave work and you take leave and you don't have to worry about those worries. And you all go into a retreat. We were in the Great Ocean Road. And the whole time is focused on worshipping Allah in various different ways. But that is the purpose of the retreat, is worshipping Allah and improving ourselves. And the timetable is always, subhanAllah, every single minute is accounted for. And so, I just wanted to kind of reflect on the timetable actually, because I think that part is my favorite.
It was insane.
Because I can never get to that stage in my daily activity. So, but having everyone follow that timetable together really helps. But like really briefly, all of us would wake up maybe an hour before Fajr.
Now, this in Australia, by the way, that's 3 a.m.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
so we got up earlier. So we got up at 2:30 because we had to be at the masjid at 3 a.m.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Some
sure.
people take more time
Got
to
him.
get ready.
Or
Got
if,
very- got very
if you had amazing roommates like me, yeah Allah, you sleep, what sleep, man?
Tickling your feet and then in the ear.
I was getting first night I got adhan and then the second I started getting tickling as an alarm. Imagine, man, come on.
Really?
Anyways, yeah.
Shout out to
Shout out to.
Should we say his name?
No.
I had one of the brothers was reciting Nasheed outside
Yeah.
To wake you up.
to wake me up.
Wow.
It was like I thought I was in a dream. It was like the best. It's like the best way to wake up.
Subhanallah.
SubhanAllah. See,
crazy.
we'd wake up that early, and then we'd all recite Quran together. We'd do some adhkar together. We'd pray Fajr together, and then we'd have a class after Fajr.
And just to set the scene, this was happening in a chapel. So it's a very spiritual
yeah.
sort of setting as
Yes,
well.
which we converted into a musalla basically.
Yeah.
Or a Zawiya.
Subhanallah, yeah.
And so after Fajr we'd have that class, and after the class we'd all recite Dalail Khairat, which is a book of salawat, and the Qasida Burda, and so it's maybe 7-8 a.m.
Praying duha.
I'll bring duha as well. So it's 7-8 a.m. and you've done so much. You've done like 3 to 4 hours. How many is that? 4
You've
hours,
achieved
4 and a
so
half
much in 4
hours
hours.
of worship.
Allah.
And it's only 7 a.m.
And to be honest, it never felt tiring. You felt like you still had the whole day in front of you.
And you know why? My theory is because there's so much variation in the types of worship we're doing.
Yeah.
If we were reading Quran for 4.5 hours, it would be
No.
heavy on the body.
Yes.
But we read a little bit of Quran. We did some adhkar together. We
Did
Yeah.
a dars.
Had a
Sometimes we did a
dars.
dars in the morning, like
yeah,
a lesson.
we'd have a class
Hike.
Burda outside with
Burda outside as well.
everyone in unison.
Facing
Yeah.
the sea.
facing the ocean, and then after that, like you mentioned, we'd go on a hike. And so we're walking,
Which
for
is
an
ibadah as
hour.
well, by the way. It's fikr. It's also ibadah. It's also
Yes.
worship.
What's fikr?
Fikr is contemplation. Allah says, الذين يذكرون إن في خلق السماوات واختلاف الليل والنهار الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات.
Yeah.
Yes.
They ponder upon
Yes.
the creation of
Yes,
Allah.
exactly.
Anyway.
SubhanAllah. So, and we'd find a waterfall, and we'd sit
beautiful,
there, and
yeah.
we'd recite some nasheed, and even the kids were reciting
Jumping
nasheed.
Oh,
around.
yeah.
So, and that's just the first half of the day.
Yeah.
And then we'd take a nap, but the purpose of the nap is to recharge,
To do more.
So the second day of the first day.
no, to continue the first day.
Which is in itself ibadah.
Second day of the first day.
Yeah.
Which actually, to be honest, is so awesome. I just wish that they did that at work, where you go to work early, rest during the day, and then you just smash through the rest of the day, which is what we
Yeah.
did.
Actually, I don't know if I would want to work for that long. It was big work for
They
that.
do that in a lot of countries and cities
In
around
some
the world.
countries.
Siestas, yeah. You got
Um,
siestas.
So, I
You
mean,
get fired for doing that. Yeah, just so, so don't do that.
and then after that, skipping some, like we'd cook together, we'd have rosters cooking and cleaning together, we'd eat together. That itself is about it because it's building your connection. Even socializing and having that time is building that connection.
And then even while doing that, we had a little booklet to guide us to say, when you're doing all these things, when you're cooking, say Bismillah, make sure you're in wudu,
Yes.
bring good positive vibes
yes,
and energy
yes.
to this thing where you're affecting so many people,
That's such a
because
big
people are going to be
difference too.
benefiting from this.
And it's
you know?
such a difference.
And it made such a big difference. Even, I was involved in cleaning, and one of the intentions I had was I just want to make sure there's a good organized structure to this, so that people are not affected like they feel when they look at this. It's all messy, like gives me like a negative vibe. Okay, here's your plates, here's your cups, everyone just stack it, we'll look after it, sort of thing. So
Yeah.
tafaddal Sidi.
No, subhanAllah. So I was just going to say, having that period. So I remember I used to read, one of the things I used to love reading all the time, Imam al-Ghazali has The Beginning of Guidance, which is one of the books, and he'd go through like the ideal timetable for a Muslim. And I'd be like, okay, let me try this. I can never do it. I'll get like 2 hours into it. I'm like, I cannot do this anymore. So having this retreat is that opportunity to really live the ideal timetable of a
SubhanAllah.
Muslim, where every single minute is worshipping Allah, and having that as part of the year is.
Yeah, that's also the
subhanAllah.
timetable of Rasulullah as well, by the way. That was the timetable. He would get up before Fajr. Then after Fajr, then he'd be awake. Then he would teach classes, durus. Then he'll rest a bit during the day, subhanAllah, for his nap. Then he'll get up again for Dhuhr and Asr. Spend some time with his companion, some companionship, suhbah. Then he would go and help out, he's at home at his household, cook and clean, doing his work. They have to do his chores, and up until Isha. And then after Isha, lights out, subhanAllah, which is exactly what he did, subhanAllah.
What thing comes to me is I'm always looking at different angles of this, right? So, as an example, you mentioned we spend the whole day worshipping Allah. I think if you said that to someone, like straight up, they'll be like, "Man, that sounds hard."
Yeah.
It's like, that's not nice.
Yeah.
but
we had fun doing
but
it.
we had fun, and I think that one of the reasons that is you mentioned the variability. Still, that's worship, though. How do you make worship not feel like it's a burden? And I think that's definitely from the blessings that every single person brings to the retreat. Obviously, the blessings of our Sheikh. We come into it with a very open mind and just seek the benefit in front of us, and then I guess the good vibes, having fun with the boys, everything just made it feel like heaven on earth. To be honest,
it was.
So when you're on heaven on earth, when you're worshipping Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, the Prophet ﷺ says like that coolness. Prayer is the coolness of my eyes.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you felt that. It's not just words. You actually were like, man, this doesn't feel too bad. This actually feels really nice. This is a cool way to live your life.
Exactly.
It just shows the potential that we have, like the potential that there is in how much you can get done in a day. Whereas if you're like, let's say you're on a normal day-to-day work and school, or even if you have a day off, Saturday, Sunday, for example, you're not doing anything.
Imagine sleeping in on a weekend,
Bro.
and it's like, I don't know, some people, not me,
Not me either.
might wake up at like 11 a.m. or
o'clock.
something.
Yeah.
How much do we get those 8 hours into our day?
But we already finished like, how many hours? From 2:30.
Yeah,
But like actually, one of the comments I had is that schedule, which you're brilliantly elucidating upon, new words.
thank you.
It shows you, what you're capable of doing.
Yes, potential.
And even though you can't keep the same, realistically, you can't keep that same schedule on your daily operation or whatever. But you can do so much, like, it also becomes easier as well, because you've just done from 2:30 until 10 o'clock of straight intense ibadah. Then after you retreat, you're like, after read Quran for 20 minutes, you're like, easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
You increase your capacity to
Yeah,
work.
Exactly.
Ibadah, but also a part of ibadah, service. How many of you people were cooking breakfast and
We all
stuff?
did. We all did.
That's,
we all
of
did,
course,
yes.
a form of worship, but it's not just about spending that time doing the readings and stuff, but it's about serving, helping.
That's right.
The good thing about that is in your day-to-day, you are serving, helping. Your
Your
family, you're doing certain things, you're trying to get to work on time, all these
100%.
sort of things.
I wanted to say, the Imam Ghazali's book, The Beginning of Guidance, it's not for the weak, man. The first page, it just like slaps you in the face.
SubhanAllah.
I swear, like
Mindset.
no, it like he just speaks to you like as if he knows you and he's speaking
SubhanAllah.
directly to you. And I was like, bro, I'm reading the first page. I'm like, I can't wait to read. Let's read. I'm like, oh,
And the sentences like start with no. Like,
Know that.
you should.
know that you like
Yeah.
Speaking to you
chasing this and that.
How does he know that?
You're like, how did you know?
SubhanAllah.
It's crazy.
I was going to add 2 points to the Karam because you made a very good point, subhanAllah, how people, they think, so if you tell them, let's go do ibadah from 2 a.m. until 10 p.m., they're like, bro, what are you okay, dude? But then from the outset, if people looked at what we did, they would think it's ibadah. Okay, what do we do? Okay, so we got up and we read Quran for about maybe and did Salat or whatever for about 1 hour before Fajr. We prayed Fajr, then we had a class. Then we read Dalal Khairat, Burda, kind of and sort of like a choir. We sang it, It was fun. It was very light, subhanAllah. They went for a hike, then we had breakfast, then we chilled for a bit, then we went then we socialized some, then had lunch, then we napped, then we got up again, we prayed Dhuhr Asr, prayed again, had another class, get more inshad, went for another hike, had a barbecue, socialized. From the outset, you're like, dude, what? You're just living like long life with a bit of ibadah. But that's all ibadah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I know we have to move on to more topics, but there's just one thing that comes to mind. These are problems that are presented to me just from various people I meet, right? So people will say that the average Muslim or person who's struggling to even call themselves Muslim or relate to being a Muslim, naturally, it's hard times these days. Holding on to your religion is like holding on to hot coal. I promise you, I feel it. I've spoken to some of you about it. It's a reality. So imagine the people who are not connected to people who are so beneficial like all of you and beneficial like our teachers. It's going to be hard, yeah? And one of the problems that comes, I guess, to me from people are that, bro, why are you talking about tasawwuf? Why are you talking about all these high concepts, right? Religious concepts. Just focus on the basics, yeah? Focus on praying on time, focus on all of these things. And while I completely agree that we have to get our fundamentals right, I still feel like a retreat like what we had would not be so difficult for people to relate to, no matter where they were on the spectrum.
100%.
Because the proof of this is that we didn't just have the murids, meaning the students of the Sheikh, of the tariqah, or the muridas, the sisters. We also had guests, people who hadn't even not come to people who hadn't even come to a single program, let alone the Grand Mawlid, let alone anything. But then
some don't even pray for Hadra, for example.
Khairan, right? They come, and then the feedback to us, whether individually or to the group, is like, man, your futua game is so strong.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I
like
remember
your
that.
futua, your
Yes.
chivalry, your Islamic chivalry was so strong. You guys set a really good role model for my kids to look up to. I'm so grateful that you created this space for us to, for us and our kids to like embody upon, which is embodying ideally upon the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's character. So I would say to that, like, sure, let's focus on the basics. And yes, agreed that the average person is struggling, but you need suhbah.
Yes.
You need companionship.
Yes, you do.
You can't just
Walk
give
alone.
people basics. What are they going to, like, they won't relate to Ibadah CD.
100%.
They won't, but they relate to you being a genuine brother who genuinely, or sister who cares about your life, cares about the quality of your life in this life and in the next life.
100%.
And just being genuine, yeah?
Yeah.
How many people are genuine? But you find a lot, I know, not from me speaking, from the feedback we hear, you'll find a lot of genuine people here.
Yes.
You find a lot of genuine people on the retreat.
Definitely.
Or at least that's what the goal is.
Inshallah.
Even if you're not, for example, you're aiming, you're striving to
Tending
be
towards-
genuine.
You see, everyone is genuine. But what happens is, as we live our life and as we go through circumstances, we go through things in our life where we start to force ourselves to mask ourselves, or we just get corrupt.
Yeah.
And then what this does is, so everyone is born genuine. Everyone is capable of being genuine. But because of circumstances, one thing or another, we decide to corrupt ourselves. But if you have a sheikh and a tariqah, the sheikh will help you remove all those facades that you've put place on yourself and bring out your true self. SubhanAllah. So yeah, as you said, definitely 100%. Even if you don't think you're genuine, come join us and you'll see that there is a genuine side to you, SubhanAllah, and you'll feel it.
One of the things that we used to do after Isha in the retreat is we'd have a Hadra.
Oh yeah.
In Sri Lanka, they call it Halara.
Halara.
Because we can't say La.
Ajib.
Really?
Yeah.
Halara.
So if you said Hadra now, not many people would know
Really?
it. So if I now just do a little, plug for my community.
Halara.
Halara.
I like that. Okay.
Ah,
They
very
know
nice,
what we're
very
talking
nice.
about. Anyway,
Hadra.
Yeah, and Hadra is always kind of, such a powerful way to worship Allah. I was keen on my friend Sidi Abdul Rahman. He has
Yes.
thoughts on
To
the
expound
Hadra
upon.
and to
Okay.
explain kind of.
I've spoken a lot, man.
Bismillah.
Well, okay, first, I think it's good to just quickly define what Hadra is for people who don't know. So, Hadra in Arabic means presence, right? So, what we do is we gather for dhikr, right? Which is something that's been reported in the Sunnah, like in numerous places. It's everywhere, subhanAllah. So, doing
In
the
the
dhikr,
hadith as
in the
well.
Quran as well, subhanAllah, Allah says, فَذْكُرُ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا. Allah says, just remember Allah's name. So, we gather to remember Allah subhanahu. So, but what we do when we try to remember Allah, we try to be in a state where we are focusing nothing but Allah. So it is as if we are now in the presence of Allah. So if you imagine yourself now, you're in the presence of Allah. It wouldn't befit you now to start thinking about your job or about your money or other things, right? Because Allah can see what's in you, right? You can't hide from Allah. So when you're in His presence, you imagine yourself, okay, as if I'm sitting in front of Allah. Now, cool. So I'm going to prepare myself, empty my thoughts of anything other than Allah. So then we gather, and then we start to we recite we say certain forms of dhikr. So for example, La ilaha illallah. Usually we start with the La ilaha illallah because of the nature of La ilaha illallah. There is no God but Allah, right? When you have that defining article of being no, then that helps your heart remove everything other than Allah. So you're saying there is nothing worthy of worship other than Allah. There is nothing worthy of attention other than Allah.
There's no reality.
There's no reality other than Allah. There's nothing but Allah. So you spend some time, so you say, La ilaha illallah. You remove everything in your heart. Yeah, until the heart is now, you've got everything out of your heart now. Then you can now focus on Allah. So then we shorten the dhikr to Allah.
The greatest name of Allah.
According to most scholars.
According to most
scholars, yeah.
scholars.
So then you say Allah, Allah, Allah. Right? You chant Allah. And that's all that. So we do that in the state of being fully present with Allah. So that's this is a practice that is done by Sufis from the time of the Sahaba until today, subhanAllah. So this year, alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed us with the ability to be able to facilitate these gatherings, and we held these monthly gatherings, alhamdulillah. So every month we'd have a Hadra, and we had, for example, we had Sheikh Ibrahim Schuitema join us for Hadra once.
Inshallah.
We had did Sheikh Ahmed Maeno join us for? No, he didn't.
No.
Who else? We had a few guests. We had guests from different turuqs. We had
Ahbab al-Mustafa.
Musa, yes, they came from Sydney.
Sheikh,
Azam Mesto came, subhanAllah. We had a few sheikhs, subhanAllah. Now it's off. It's gone.
Yeah,
subhanAllah.
we've had a few overseas munshidin as well.
Yes.
Sheikh Hamdi Kanju,
Sheikh Mansour Zaita, yes.
Yeah, so
Of course, and the grand Hadra we had this year as well, which is just after Eid, but we had all the tariqas in Australia come together. Had the Shadhilis, the Ba'alawis, we had the Naqshbandis, the Chishtis. This was Eid. Do you remember when we did it at YMA? The grand Hadra that we had.
Oh, yeah.
That was this year.
I remember. Was that this year?
Yes. As you were saying.
way.
Yeah, this year. Yeah, it was Eid.
Bro.
Yeah.
like I said at the
Must have been
beginning,
the
you think
start.
it was
Yeah.
a few years ago, but it was only
Yeah, this year's subhanAllah, we had that Hadra. So, yeah, so alhamdulillah, Allah bless us to have these Hadras. And when you're in this state, subhanAllah, for me at least, being connected to, obviously you're focusing on Allah, but when you're in a circle and you know that the brother on my left, the brother on my right, or if you're a sister, the sister on your left, or the sister on your right, you know that you're all thinking about the same thing. You're focusing on the same thing. The thoughts might manifest differently. So, for example, when someone's thinking about Allah, maybe he's thinking about Allah, or she's thinking about Allah through His mercy, and some through His majesty, some through His might and glory. You know, so it depends. But everyone is focusing on the same subject. Subhanallah. Yes. And when you understand that, you appreciate, wow, I'm unison. Everyone's focusing on the same thing. Your experience becomes so strong. You become elated, right? You feel elated, subhanAllah.
The next life is going to be full of the zikr of Allah.
Allah.
Is there any doubt on that?
No,
there isn't.
No.
So you're feeling like, I guess what you're describing is that when you're trying to bring that experience into this dunya.
Yes.
You can never do it in the way that it'll be done in the akhirah.
SubhanAllah.
But we're trying to get connected to Allah in a very, I guess, very deep way.
That's why I feel. That's what, and it feels like Jannah, subhanAllah. That's
Feels
why
like
it
this
feels,
is what
it feels like you're
feels
so
like
right.
you're out of this world.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, subhanAllah.
Allah.
Yeah. So my experience, Hadra, I'm sure everyone here has experience. Everyone experienced some sort
my
of things.
experience in
Tell us.
Sydney, man.
Tell us. Is that your alarm? Nice.
Is that when you wake up?
It's got a Hadra for his alarm. Beautiful.
Actually, that was actually a Hadra being played as my alarm. That just went off.
Sydney, Hadra.
Bro,
Were
I
you
missed
there?
out. I
No,
missed
you
out.
missed-
This is the
Actually,
biggest
none
thing
of
I've
you-
ever missed out on in my
Oh, no, right.
life.
I missed out.
And I was
Did you miss
there
out on
in
that one?
Sydney. I was
You were in
literally
Sydney as well?
there in Sydney.
You were in Sydney, yes.
I was meant to come and I just got sick just before I was coming.
SubhanAllah.
Oh yes, you were in Sydney. You guys were
I
in
missed
Sydney.
out on that, bro.
I'm the okay.
Tell us
I
your
can
luck.
brag as
Tell
much
us,
as I want right
brag
now.
it, tell us.
For the
Anyways,
fifth time in a row.
It was honestly one of the best trips. It was after the retreat.
Yes.
We had a retreat in Gerringong.
Gerringong. New South Wales.
I actually met someone in uni who was from that area, and it was the pronunciation is actually something different.
Oh, it's not even
Yeah,
Gerringong?
she was professional, so she was like, it's actually, okay. Anyways, after the retreat, we went to Sydney with Sheikh Azam's, in Sheikh Azam's Zawiya, and it was hosted by Sheikh Azam. It was
Just Masjid al-Rahma? is
the
it?
Masjid al-Rahma in Sydney,
Sydney.
in Guildford.
It's amazing.
It was honestly one of the best trips I've ever been to. SubhanAllah, Sheikh Azam and his students and his murideen they just took care of us like.
I
Subhanallah.
remember
we
seeing the
are-
pictures. They were
Subhanallah.
cooking for you, and they had the whole table open for you
Like we-
outside the Zawiya.
Like as soon as we got there, Sheikh Azam himself
MashaAllah.
and a few of his close students, they were there waiting for us and welcoming us. So took us straight to his office, and then gave us a tour of the masjid and the zawiya, and like just showed us the facility, and then he invited us back to his office, and he had some raw meat, like a bunch of raw meat, Lebanese style, man. Some salad, something. I was like, got a bit of carrot. That's that.
Did you try it? The raw meat?
huh?
Did you try it?
No way.
Do you know it? Have you had it?
Yeah, I've heard of it, like, but I've never tried it. No.
I'd love to try it, bro. Because I eat sushi. I'm used to that.
Yeah, but raw
Yeah,
meat.
sushi
Sushi's like raw fish, isn't it?
Like imagine
It's fish.
Yeah, fish is always best when it's raw.
Yeah, but I'm sure they have a way of preparing it in the same way that you prepare sushi, that you don't get sick.
No.
There's a way to
It was-
prepare it.
Eat.
No spice, nothing.
Oh, there was actually spice. Like you can add your own spice. Anyways, and then they got us barbecue. Like it was like a normal thing. Like Sheikh Azam just indicated one of the students that told him now a whole barbecue is being set up. SubhanAllah, so they took care of us very, very well. Like because they also came to Melbourne like the year before that,
SubhanAllah.
and SubhanAllah, after the way they took care of us,
Yeah, it was
it
there
was
before, it
we
was-
felt very. I felt very like everyone felt very
Embarrassed.
like embarrassed of
Like we wanted to do more.
like we need to do a lot more for them. SubhanAllah. They had mini buses that would drive us around to visit different
SubhanAllah.
mashayikh. Like we would go.
Really?
Yeah.
They organized a minibus for you?
They had like a mini bus.
Oh, they already have.
Wow, man.
Yeah, so like
SubhanAllah,
they would we visit different mashayikh.
Were the boys carrying the bus or were they driving?
bro. Yeah, they were big boys, man. They're big boys.
SubhanAllah, I'll tell you
mashallah.
something about them. They're big, and I learn. You learn so much from them. The level of humility they have, because these are people like that can crush you, man.
by looking at you, bro.
But look at it,
Allah,
big,
Allah.
tall, muscular, like giants.
Like some of them actually have like warrior names, like Schuitema. I'll never forget it.
Really?
Really?
SubhanAllah, that's crazy.
Mm.
Wow.
It's like I met him this year and again, hey, I remember your name. Hey, brother.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The
mashallah.
first year when he saw me, like in the first Grand Mawlid, he's like, he took my beard. It's like, Assalamu alaikum.
You know, the thing that amazes me is how the role of tasawwuf and the Zawiya and Sheikh, how it can take people with that much energy,
Exactly.
And strength.
where there's a lot of potential that it can go wrong, which
Yeah.
we see a lot, especially in Sydney, in Western Sydney, and Northern Suburbs here. You know, you can see how that
Transforms their heart.
personality, that temperament can go wrong.
Exactly.
But the power of the tasawwuf and Zawiya is how you can redirect that energy
Steer it right.
to be more powerful than anything else.
I've seen the boys, they like always behind Sheikh Azam. And they're like, Sheikhna, and like, you know, always trying to fulfill his needs. And these big guys
Yeah.
with like guns the size of my head, bro.
Exactly.
But like they're so gentle with their Sheikh. And
Yeah, like,
anyone they're serving,
it's
including I heard you as
it's
well.
crazy. And SubhanAllah, we're like kids, man. Like this, SubhanAllah, we're like kids in front of them. SubhanAllah, I remember Sheikh Kamil, may Allah bless him. He, like, we had clothes and thobes and stuff that was dirty, needed ironing and whatever. He just took it from us, washed it, and
Really?
ironed it, and put on a hanger,
Ironed it as well,
and then
dude.
delivered it to us.
Crazy.
SubhanAllah, it was like
crazy.
It was.
That's
You would have been
crazy.
embarrassed, bro.
But the topic was Hadra.
That's right.
They have Hadra every Thursday night, and
Every
it's
week.
SubhanAllah,
Every week.
every week,
Every
every
week,
week,
Man,
every week.
It's like a lifeline for them.
Oh,
100%.
oh, it's amazing. Because they've done it for so long, and their tariq is so big. SubhanAllah, the amount of students they have, and how long they've been together. You know, Shaykh Abdul Rahman, Shaykhna, he mentioned how Allah like systems. You know, likes organized.
Yes.
So you can see it there. They've been together for so long. They've developed systems, and they're so organized with the Hadra as well. They have a set amount of like multiple munshideen who are reciting or singing or whatever.
Everyone's got a role, yeah.
And then we have multiple drummers and everyone else who don't have those roles. They're so in sync. So in Hadra, you think it's all one person. Like everyone is in sync. So that helps you concentrate so much on doing the dhikr of La ilaha illallah or Allah, whatever it is. You have, because if it's everyone, like imagine you saying Allah and then you're like Allah and the next one says Allah, you're like getting distracted. But everything, the system
Everything
is so
is
nice,
united.
it's so organized.
Yeah.
It's honestly one of the best hadras I've been to. It was just amazing. Like,
Inshallah.
I wish you guys were there, but you guys were too cool to come out. Really missed out now.
Right, even the one in
Don't worry.
Melbourne, Ahbab Mustafa.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Too.
I wasn't there, but I missed that one.
Really good.
But I
Really
heard it
good.
was hectic.
But the only difference
It's really
is there it was everyone that do that on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Here we have it's people come from, some people don't have much experience, whatever. But it was just a contrast of the organization and how much you can concentrate.
Inshallah.
SubhanAllah.
Inshallah.
And one of the other things also that, again, in the topic of reviewing what we've done in the year, we've already covered so much.
Subhanallah, bro.
But there's the classes that we have, and we have several classes every week. What are some of the books we go through? We have Riyadh al-Salihin, we have Bahr al-Asliya, we have
Fath al-Dayan. We've got a book on Aqidah, Tasawwuf and Fiqh.
Yeah.
We've also got. We just started Taj al-Arus. How many books have we finished in the span of last 2 years? We finished the Hikam, all the Hikams. We finished.
Probably about 6 books, bro.
Yeah, we finished.
Hidayat al-Adhkiya.
Hidayat al-Adhkiya we finished as well. Safin al-Najah. You guys did Safin al-Najah.
That was
Safin
before, yeah.
That was, with Shaykh Abdul Qadir, we finished Safinat al-Najah, we finished Abu Shuja.
Wow. Okay. SubhanAllah.
Actually, Fath al-Dayan is the third one that we started off.
Oh, there you go.
So what topics do we cover?
So, and then there's still more. Hold on. We got now for Arabic classes we're doing Yaqut al-Nafis, which is the Shafi fiqh. Then we're studying usul al-fiqh as well by Imam. I forget the name of the book. Sheikh is going to kill me because I attend his class every week. A book on usul al-fiqh.
That's because you're so absorbed in the book, you don't remember the fine details.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't see this. So we've covered fiqh. We've covered usul al-fiqh. We've covered tazkiyah. We have covered
History of fiqh as well.
History of fiqh as well, we've covered as well. If you look at, subhanAllah, in the famous hadith of Jibreel, right? The hadith where Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam comes to Rasulullah and he says, tell me about 3 things. Iman, Islam, Ihsan, right? What is Islam? What is Iman? What is Ihsan? So scholars they say that if you want to summarize like the entire literature of the Quran and so you can find it all in this hadith.
Yeah.
This hadith is like, this is, how, like, give me Islam 1 minute, like TikTok, the 1 minute Islam, give them this hadith. This covers everything, subhanAllah, right? And if you want to look at it deeply, Sayyidina Jibreel came to teach the Muslims that there's 3 aspects of the deen. You can summarize the whole deen 3 aspects. Islam, which is you're worshipping Allah with the outer parts, with your body, the physical actions. The fiqh, right? So you're praying, you're fasting, your charity, your hajj, your umrah, the physical things. Then you have Iman, which is your belief, right? So what, as a Muslim, what do you have to believe in? You need to believe in Allah and the books, the angels, right? The basic 6 pillars of Iman that everyone kind of studies, yeah? And then you have Ihsan, right? Which is perfection. But what is that? So Rasulullah, he said, when he was asked about what is Ihsan, he said, is to worship Allah as if you see him. And if you don't see him, know that he sees you. So scholars said that this is the essence of tasawwuf, right? Perfecting yourself so that when you worship Allah, you worship as if, so you are consciously aware that you're being watched 24/7. If you are consciously aware that Allah's watching you 24/7, how is it possible for you to harbor any negative thoughts or harbor any negative feelings or even have that ego active, right? If you're
or disobey the one that you know is seeing you.
Exactly. If you really believe, if you really say that you're conscious of Allah, you're really conscious that Allah's watching 24/7, are you really going to disobey Allah? Right? So that's ihsan. That's tazkiyah. That's tasawwuf, working on the heart.
And what's really especially attractive about that is there's not only an angle of being, watched by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and it's like punitive or punishment aligning line.
That's right.
But what I love about how we learn about this as well, there's always a love angle. Would you disobey the one that you love?
Exactly.
Like if that love was true.
Yes.
Which is always something that we're trying to tend towards.
Yes.
I don't know if you had more to say because I wanted to say
Yeah, I was going to say, because like the beauty of the classes and the books that Sheikh chose for us cover these 3 aspects.
Was there a specific one that aligned with you, especially this year?
So I've benefited from all these books, subhanAllah, but there's bits like, obviously fiqh, the biggest thing about the book of fiqh we've done, the Arabic book Yaqut al-Nafiz, which is it's the text is not advanced, but the explanation is advanced. And we're about to finish the book now. I think we've got 1 or 2 lessons left to finish the whole book. We started last year, subhanAllah. So about to finish Shafi fiqh from A to Z, subhanAllah. So that's a huge milestone. I cannot wait, inshallah, for that. But as for what stuck out to me and like what I really enjoyed, I enjoyed Hidayat Athikya. I enjoyed a lot, but I know Sayyid Taha's got more to say for that. Taj Arus, something's found that I've actually started teaching that at work. So when I go and
we
visit,
just started this in retreat like a few days ago. You're
I
already starting
started
teaching.
straight away.
It's actually such a nice book.
It's an amazing
Start
book.
teaching it at work, isn't what you have your own halaqah at work? Or?
Yeah, sort of like that. So when I see the
Where do you work, man?
I work in jail. So I visit prisoners, and Muslim prisoners, and usually they ask me for to teach something. So I've always been like the whole year, like what do I teach? Like I can't teach fiqh. I don't teaching Quran and teach that. But they need something else. Like people don't just want to everyone knows that we need to pray, right? And if you want to know someone wants to learn how to pray, you'll find brothers who know how to pray. But that's not what builds iman, So I'm thinking, what can I teach? I need some sort of something for the heart that builds love. And Tajahud has been excellent, subhanAllah.
Because from that, then prayer becomes easy.
Yes.
I always say the inward work is what creates the outward realities to come out really easily, which I'll talk about a bit later. But now, in terms of my favorite book, it's this book right here.
Allah.
It's a very special book, and it had come to my attention from the trip that I came back from in Sri Lanka when I went to visit my family, my relatives.
Oh.
Yeah, this book was given to me by one of my mom's cousin's husband. We call him uncle.
So you already knew about this before we started this book.
See, this book was given to me, and I gave this book to Maulana Sheikh. And then he looked into this. He looked into this book. He spoke to his teachers and people he'd come across from the area where this book is originated, which is the subcontinent, like people who had
From
had
Sri
an
Lanka?
impact. I don't know. I think India, teachers he had come across from Kerala possibly and stuff. Because this book is it originates from an Indian scholar,
MashaAllah.
and is taught very much so in Sri Lanka.
MashaAllah.
And the uncle who gave me this book said that if you don't have a sheikh, this book will teach you everything you need to know.
Allah.
It has everything you need, which I'm going to talk a bit about. So the book is called Fathud Dayan fi Fiqh Khair al-Adyan, which means opening towards understanding the best religions, Islam. So it was written by Sheikh Imam Arus, Muhammad Imam al-Arus, and it was originally written in the language called Arabi, which is Tamil, but in Arabic script.
Oh wow!
So if you know certain languages like Java, like the Javanese language was written in Arabic script. Turkish was also written in Arabic script, and
Urdu, Farsi.
Urdu still has the Arabic script.
Yes.
But some of these languages have become anglicized or changed into different scripts. So this was originally in that language, and it was translated into English in this form by Professor Safiuddin J. Anif Dure. And subhanAllah, this book, when Maulana Sayyidina Sheikh was introducing this book before we studied it, he said that so many people in the community, from his experience, have not had the chance to learn the basics that they need to operate as a Muslim, which is what is called Fardul Ain. Like if you don't know these things, you're technically in a negative position, sinful. These are the basics that you need to know, like how do you pray, what nullifies your prayer, how to take wudu, nullifies the wudu, so on and so forth, right? Basics that you need to learn in order to operate as a Muslim. This is fiqh. It also teaches, this is Iman, Islam, Ihsan, the hadith, right? So Iman is, Islam is the fiqh component. It also teaches Islam, which deriving from the hadith is the basic beliefs. What do I believe in? I believe in Allah, the book, the last books, the last days, the prophets, 6 pillars of Iman, essentially. And also what it talks about is Amal al-Qulub, which is the actions of the heart. So you need to know your basics in order to make sure that you have a clean heart. In the explanation or the introduction to this book, Maulana Sayyidina Sheikh referred to the Quran. And he said that there's an ayah in the Quran which Prophet Ibrahim says, إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهُ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. So, which means, except those people who reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a clean heart. And what this is talking about is basically that in order to be free from the questioning of Allah, on the Day of Judgment, you need to have a clean heart.
SubhanAllah.
You know, my family talks a lot about we want to be among the 70,000 people who are interceded by the Prophet ﷺ, that we don't have to have any questioning with Allah. So I say that, you know, in order to do that, of course, praying is essential, doing all these things is essential, having a clean heart, not having any envy, not backbiting to the best of possible, not speaking unnecessarily, because from that you will end up doing all these other things. Actions that lead you to having a clean heart, very important if you are aspiring to be among these people. So subhanAllah, so this is a book which is very, very dear to me because it's connected to my heritage. It's very much.
So how excited were you when you found out that Mustafa was going to teach that book?
Maulana asked me, can we teach this? Or he
Allah.
suggested, do you think this is, or he didn't ask me if I think
So
or
you
he
were the
knows
reasons,
better.
subhanAllah.
But like since I suggested the book, he had a quick read through it. It's like, wow, this is very encompassing. This is very beneficial. And then he got sort of the permissions to teach it, and then he decided to teach this book, which covers everything that you need to know to operate as a Muslim, working on your heart, knowing how to pray, your basics, and also believing in the correct aqidah and the beliefs. So it's very, very special because you know, if not for the people before us, Sidi, and of course Allah had designed that, we wouldn't be Muslims. So many people put so much effort into preserving religion, like Sheikh Shadhili, like Imam Arus, and Imam Bukhari, and so many others, so that we can still be considered Muslim. We have still something to grasp and hold on to.
It covers like fiqh, it covers aqidah, it covers
Tasawwuf.
Three aspects:
It's-
Iman,
it's-
Islam, Ihsan.
It really is an amazing book.
Alhamdulillah.
When you can summarize things and you know, so many things holistically, it's amazing, mashallah.
Barakallah feek.
One of the things, one of my favorite books is Hidayat al-Athkiya,
Allah.
which is, how do you translate the title to that?
The guidance of the
Intelligent.
more intelligence, like dhikr is like almost genius. It's like the guidance of the, I don't know, what would you?
Intelligent people on the way to Allah.
I guess so. No, sure.
Why that one though?
So
Because that's the book we studied last retreat.
yes,
if you remember.
Yes. My favorite thing when I first saw this book is that it was this small, right? Rather than like a big book, it was this small. But it summarizes all of the tasawwuf. It
Yeah.
summarizes, for example, like a lot of people say that it summarizes like the entire Ihya Ulumuddin and Ghazali's
Subhanallah.
works, all in a tiny little book.
Yeah, subhanallah.
And it just goes, you know, point by point by point in a structure that you can remember and understand. And, you know, once you understand those concepts well, you know, that'll take you far enough. You don't even have to, you know, always look deep into things. So my favorite lesson in Hidayat al-Athkiya was to do with the concept of zuhud. There's a whole chapter on zuhud.
And Zuhud means?
And zuhud means, was it like the detachment from the dunya? And it's such a, like, there's so many misconceptions around what this means, right? So like, okay, detachment from the dunya. So you don't get involved into community, you kind of stay away from people, you don't get married, you don't work,
Become a sociopath.
you don't make money, that sort of thing, right? But that's not the case. In reality, that what it means is that, you know, you can do all those things with your hand, but at least from your heart, you are detached. You know,
I love that. Can I just jump in? That reminds me of a saying of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, which Maulana taught us. Khalwatina fi jalwatina. I don't know if I've said the correct
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
thing. Khalwatuna or khalwatina, but the idea is that our khalwa, our seclusion, is in associating with people. Like it's not, you know, it's being involved.
It's in public involvement.
Public involvement.
because it's actually easy to practice certain things when you're not associated or involved with it. But when you become involved with society, that's where you really start to get
You struggle.
You're tested, for example.
100%.
So and they say, you know, for example, if you have $1 or $1 million in your bank account in your hand, that shouldn't make a difference in your heart. You know, so I think that that itself is such an important point. And you see people these days who are so into the dunya and so consumed by the dunya. All they think about is work and money and success, which is all, you know, good things you should work for. But they become so consumed that they forget Allah, and they become so attached that if it was taken away from them, they would, be miserable because their happiness depends on it.
Their happiness is dependent on the stock market.
The happiness is dependent on material things, and
That's right.
material things are bound to perish.
Yes.
So your happiness will never really last, right? And they say that the kind of the test here is that if something is removed from your life, right, something that means something to you, maybe it's a house, maybe it's a job. If something is removed from your life, does it have a lasting effect on your heart? Right? I mean, all of us are human. We might have some initial frustration, but how much does it really consume you? That's one of the tests to know how badly you're impacted. So subhanAllah, the concept of zuhud has always been something very interesting and something that has a lot of misconceptions around it. So
And something that you've been trying to make a real. Because it's easy to talk about a concept in abstraction like, zuhud. But how do you apply that? Which I think you've really benefited from in terms of
Yes, definitely.
the learnings from Hidayatul Adhkiya.
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah. Sidi Mahdi.
For me, I will go back a little bit. It was when we did the Hikam ibn Ata'illah.
Allah.
The online lectures.
Yeah. So there was one specific one that really stood out for me. It was the 11th hikmah. I will say it in the actual translation, even though people might not understand, including myself. Bury yourself in the earth of obscurity.
Allah.
For whatever sprouts forth
Really?
without having first been buried, flowers imperfectly. So
Allah.
I will, because I took notes of the dars. So it's not going to be my words. It's going to be what Sayyidina Sheikh was saying. So this hikmah is one of the most important elements to overcoming your nafs, your evil, and the attachment that you have with your nafs, and how to get rid of your ego as well. So your existence here means anything about yourself that occupies your mind, anything that occupies your thinking, that distracts you and keeps you away from Allah. What it's saying is you bury that as if it's passed away, like you forget about it. And then through burying it, what's gonna happen is you're gonna come back, but this time when you come back, you're gonna be coming back as a tree that is sprouted and is healthy. So like it's not just anything, it's healthy. And the earth of obscurity here means to not be seen in the eyes of others anything else. So basically sometimes you need to walk away from the spotlight, from sometimes being seen by people as someone will distract you. And sometimes in order for you to overcome your attachment to yourself, you need to basically walk away from the spotlight, from being the person that everyone sees and thinks so highly of. So if people are thinking very highly of you, it brings you more attention and you think you're someone, you need to step away from that. And Ibn Ajiba, he explains this hikmah. He says you should cover yourself in the earth of obscurity until you love it and it becomes home for you, and until you hate fame and being famous, and only when you plant yourself deep in this earth your roots will grow, and only when the roots are strong will there be fruits to harvest. If you don't do so and you let yourself grow on the service of fame, the plant will die or its fruit will fall.
I've noticed, subhanAllah, like just speaking to people like sheikhs and stuff, like some people who are really sincere, they hate being in front of people. Like this is something like they detest it, but they realize that they have a job to do. They have a job to do, so they do it. They do it unwillingly, but then when they take the job, they take it firm with quwwah. So that quwwah doesn't come from I want to be famous, I want to put my name out, I want to be in all the pictures and stuff. It's like genuinely you see they after the dars, like they're drained, like this took so much energy from me, but they did it for a purpose to help people. Subhanallah.
Yeah, so that was one of the ones that I could really relate with, and that stood out a lot.
Oh, so that's my favorite hikam as well.
It was amazing.
Exact same one.
It was
So
amazing.
what you see the Amdu?
I haven't got a few. Hikam, subhanAllah. You know, the first hikam.
It doesn't have to be hikam. We're on the topic of books.
Well, now you spell hikam. Honestly, you know what? I'll just say the hikam is the first one.
You mentioned at the start. I think you mentioned
Did I?
some of your favorite books.
I like, yeah. So like all of them, like I enjoyed all of them. Especially I enjoyed Hidayat Athkar. Really enjoyed Taj'alu, subhanallah. But since the hikam has been amazing, subhanallah, it's the hikam that really was life changing, subhanallah. Learning, understanding, just the realities of the path of Allah and like your perception of the world is not what you think it is, subhanallah. And how you need to recalibrate your lens because, for example, the first hikam, which basically, and I'm going to summarize it. I can't say word for word is basically what's funny.
I can't smile. Smile, it's sunnah.
If you're done with that, then I'd just like to quickly.
No.
Well,
I was just going to say so.
Absolutely.
Threw me off now. Oh yeah, sorry. The first hikam, basically like if a sign of like a sign that you're like that you're in a wrong state or like you're not doing things right is if you're relying on your deeds. SubhanAllah.
You lose hope.
Yeah, a sign of despair. Is it this one? A sign of despair?
Yeah. Let me see if I can-
Oh, you're basically like
Yeah.
a bad sign is that if you fall into despair if you fall into
One of the signs of relying on one's own deeds is the loss of hope when a downfall occurs.
Thank you.
That's my second favorite.
Oh, there you go.
That's crazy.
Which is the first one.
There you go. So that struck me because subhanAllah, you know, it's this mindset of like, okay, I do good, Allah gives me good. Something bad happens to me because I did something bad. Where the way the world works is it's not that polarized. You know, things are not black and white. You know, Allah can put you in a situation, and again, it's perspective. Just because you're in a bad situation doesn't mean that's because of bad deeds. And the fact that you do good things and now you think, all right, now I deserve good things, but I'm not getting good things now. What's going on?
That's sorry.
It's like the three levels of worship, right? So like the first level is kind of transactional, which is that you know you do something good and then you expect something good back.
And something Allah gives that to you to sort of keep to sort of make you feel like, okay, wait, this is something that is a good path.
Yes,
But then sometimes you might not get that.
So,
yeah.
You might not get that.
And actually, that reminds me. So, one of the things on like my reflection of 2025, if I think about the one area that I really learned in 2025, I really look back, is to do with this topic specifically. And it's I always grew up thinking and being told that, you know, the people who are always doing the right thing, avoiding bad thing, always have a much better life and better success in this world, which is, you know, true in many cases. And so what that would do is it would encourage me as a teenager, when I have exams, when I have other things, that I would rely on my good deeds and I would stay away from bad deeds so that I would do well in my exams, for example, right? It was actually quite effective, but it was transactional. It was a transactional relationship, right? And what I learned this year is that often Allah can test worshippers of Allah to see how sincere they really are. And you often see this in, you know, some of the awliya, even the prophets back in the day, the Prophet ﷺ, that they went through the hardest of tests.
yes.
And I remember this analogy where it's like you might have two kids. One child, the parent might be, you know, guiding them, but they just don't listen. And so they just let them go. Say, okay, you can do whatever you want. Whereas the other child, you discipline them because you know they have so much potential. And so one of the things that I reflected on this year was just that, you know, Allah tests those with faith by kind of taking away their dunya sometimes and putting them through trials and really shaking them to their core. But why? It's really to test their reliance on Allah and to bring them even closer to achieving their potential. And He might give somebody else who has no connection with Allah all the things in the dunya because they don't even mean anything to Allah in the grand scheme of things. So you know, that's kind of what I realized, that the goal isn't to have a comfortable life which is free from trials, because you'll never be in a position where life is just certain, because the dunya doesn't work like that. So the goal is being able to accept and react appropriately
Yeah,
to whatever situation is handed to you, and to live with that uncertainty and whatever happens in your life. And if you're able to achieve that, again, like we mentioned before, you can live life with peace.
Allah.
So that's one of the things that I reflected on in 2025. But I'm keen to hear one of your reflections.
For me, I think one of my reflections for this year was just trying to be more real as a person. So obviously there's an outward thing that people see, but there's an inward reality that no one but Allah sees, and whoever He allows to see, I guess, from His servants. But I just been reflecting so much on the sacrifices of our teachers, and how they sacrifice so much from this dunya, like just being free with what they eat. Sometimes, just eat anything, anywhere, but being very selective about what you put into your body, being very selective about, who you spend time with, because you want to make sure you receive the right kind of energies and anwar and light, and not receive difficult times, I guess, as a result of those associations. And I looked at them and I thought, how they sacrifice so much in order to be so real. And it's a result of that sacrifice that they can be of service and benefit to us, because you can only benefit someone if you're actually real. If you're one person to the public and one person in private, it's going to fall through one day. Like 100%. Either people will see it or you yourself will stumble and trip. But how difficult is it to be a real person in the sense of being sincere and struggling, sacrificing only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His sake, such that you can be beneficial to people. So I looked at, I guess, my teachers and Sheikh Maulana Sayyidina Sheikh in particular, and that's pretty much been something that I've been trying to tend towards more so this year. So in terms of leaving bad associations, trying to do more good, leaving bad thoughts, and substituting all of those with things that pleases Allah, trying to draw those boundaries in being more firm on my identity as a Muslim. It's easier to say than done. It requires putting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. It requires reflecting on the idea that Allah is wali of tawfiq. Allah is the guard and the supporter of your success. So many times we look at people to say, I get that big salary, or they gave me this, so I should be grateful to them. You should be. Whoever is not grateful to man is not grateful to Allah. But at the same time, you have to realize that Allah is the source. So you do everything right by Allah as best as you can. All that tawfiq is going to come. And also, with that intimidation from the dunya and from those negative sources, that say, oh no, you should do this. This is actually going to help you. Don't really think about doing what pleases Allah. You then remember fi amanillah, like I rest in the care of Allah. Like, as we were saying before. So, thinking about that and thinking about how, as I said, how much working on the heart and the inward reality will give you blessings and success in the outward realities. Working on yourself inwardly, outward stuff will come. Yes. You'll be more confident. You'll be more successful. The rizq will come to you. The challenges will come to you to level you up to the next person that you're supposed to be. All these kind of things, I see that was definitely something that I've been trying to tend towards, and we ask Allah for consistency in that. In terms of a goal for 2026, this year has been very difficult in the sense that there's been a lot of things that have been, new experiences and a lot of things that I've had to push through. So for me, the goal really is about making sure that I focus on khidmah and service, because I know as a fact that service is the shortcut to openings and blessings. I just know it as it's like a pillar in my beliefs. Like I know you do that. You look at people who are doing khidmah, they're in a good place. I look at my boys here, they're always serving. No wonder they're so successful.
Looking right back at you.
So I've felt and I've seen resonated with this so strongly, and specifically like with the work that this tariqah does, in order to connect people to the spirit of the Quran and Sunnah. In the most traditional, and in the most reliable sense. Like I have definitely been a witness to see how this has transformed people's hearts. So in terms of khidmah, obviously it'll be towards the tariqah and to every good thing that comes my way. And yeah, just being able to put more energy into being in the service of the people of Allah.
MashaAllah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Alhamdulillah.
Sidi Rahman, what's one reflection or learning from 2025?
Man, for me, it was, subhanAllah, by nature, and this is probably shocking, guys, but by nature, I've always been a perfectionist. Shocking, yeah?
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I understand that.
I've always been, and I suffered a lot from analysis paralysis. Because when I do things, if I can't get everything right, I just won't do it. That's how, and I'll struggle, subhanAllah. So, but this year I've learned that, subhanAllah, that you'll never get a situation that will come where all the conditions, all the extraneous factors are in place. Everything's 100% perfect. The atmospheric pressure is perfect. The weather's perfect. The stars are aligned. That will never come in life, subhanAllah. And experiencing this, the first way I experienced this was the podcast, subhanAllah. Like, we weren't prepared for the podcast. I was like, man, I'm not ready yet. Let's have some time to prepare how to
You've never done this before.
I've never done it before, subhanAllah, but I didn't know anything about microphones. I didn't know anything about like software, nothing. And
You've spoken before.
I've spoken, I guess.
We just put a mic in front of you.
Yeah, well, there you go, subhanAllah. But then looking at that, subhanAllah, and then how Mawlana Sheikh will just start, just get started. And you'll see, as you get started, the openings will come, subhanAllah. And that's what happened, subhanAllah. So I've learned that through that podcast, anything in life, subhanAllah, if the opportunity that comes is good and you're sincere, and it helps having a sheikh, because if you have a sheikh who's connected, he will be able to tell you if that opportunity is good or bad, right? Because the sheikh will know. He's gone through that path already. He knows what's good for your deen and what's not good for your deen. But if you see the opportunity that's come, and sometimes it won't come ever again, subhanAllah, and even if you're not ready, sometimes you just got to just jump the gun. Just take that first step. And you'll see things will just open. So I've learned to abandon this idea of all or nothing. And this idea of all or nothing is antithetical to Islam, right?
Yeah.
Because nothing will ever be perfect, right? You'll never be perfect. But things will get better.
That's part of the process. To jump and to have faith and fall into fear,
Exactly.
That's part of it.
Exactly.
Tawakkul is when you have tawakkul. Shaykh mentioned that people who have tawakkul, the whole reality can change. Like, for example, if we're both gonna, I don't know, jump off the roof,
don't do it.
Roof of the house, don't do it. But if one person genuinely had, okay, this is crazy, but anyways, if just for analogy,
He's realizing that this is a public liability. It's waiting to happen.
You probably
Don't
break a
try this at
bone.
home.
You probably break your leg anyways. But just to understand, two people have the same circumstances. One has tawakkul, genuine tawakkul, and the other one doesn't. Let's say you jump, okay? The one who has genuine tawakkul probably could survive, because the whole reality can change because you genuinely believe in Allah. Whereas the other one is like, he says it with the words, but not necessarily actually believe in Allah will save him or whatever. That's one thing. By the way, that was my goal of 2026. Hopefully not jumping off buildings. But something to improve on is to increase in tawakkul, because honestly, life would be on easy mode if you actually genuinely have tawakkul. Everything will, inshallah, will go. It will be very well. That was one of the goals for the future, 2026. But reflection, one thing I learned was you can't juggle things. This was also mentioned by Mawlana Sheikh. You can't juggle between two different lives in things, because my group of friends or circle is completely different to what it is now. So I had to
Can't live two lives.
for a while. I was a bit of, even though I was like, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not that guy, I'm not gonna do that, whatever. But still, the people were around. Like, it's not like I'm not gonna talk to them anymore, but still, it was still some connection with them. But now, after hearing that, you can't do two things at once. You can't juggle it. So
Be selective.
you kind of have to let go some stuff. But yeah, I think.
Have you ever heard of the saying "birds of a feather fly together"?
Flock together.
Fly flock.
Is there fly? I've never heard fly.
Anyway,
I've never heard any of
Today I
that
learned.
stuff.
Today I learned.
But
That's a really
subhanAllah,
good
I think that should be Still should wrap it up now.
Yeah. Mashallah. That's the kind of the year 2025 in review.
Yeah.
We went through, our podcast, how we started the podcast, the reasons for it. Went through a lot of the things that we worked towards, the events, the Mawlid, the Mawalid, the retreat, the
new
classes, the books. We opened a new Zawiya, everything. So, mashallah, I hope everyone benefits from the podcast. And
Stay tuned for big things next year, guys. Stay tuned. Expect big things, inshallah. Big guests,
Inshallah.
big names, inshallah. Big things, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And also, by the way, guys, leave comments because we do read them. Sometimes we might not respond though, but we definitely do read them. And the good comments that you guys leave really makes an impact for us. So leave likes, like, comment, subscribe, all that, yada yada.
Share.
Share as well, everything.
inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu
Assalamu
alaikum
alaikum.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.